week's Brick Talk. I'm Randy. The guy on the other side of the screen is Danai, and the voice that you're hearing but not seeing anybody for is Adriel, who jumped on as our first caller this evening. Uh, for this episode of Brick Talk. Just as always, as we do every week, I'll just give you a quick heads up that I'm not a licensed investment advisor. Nothing on the show should be taken, misconstrued, or thought to be investment advice. It's just me talking, me and not an advisor talking to Danai, who is an advisor, licensed investment advisor, but also nothing in the session, nothing in this entire episode should be taken as any investment advice from Danai either. It really is just us talking. It's entertainment. It should be educational, but it should not be a reason for you to buy or sell any stock or any security. Do all your investments on the basis of a personalized session with a licensed investment advisor. I recommend Danai as the best. You can link him at the Hall Advisory.
thehalladvisory.com.
There we go. Right.
For ease, just click on my name and go on my page. It's in my bio.
There we go. Yeah, and so this week's episode, where it is called Gaining Access, and of course, it's touching on the hot topic of the week, which is the Access Financial situation, we'd call it. But of course, you guys can come. You guys can join us and talk about anything you want, and we welcome that conversation. And we know, of course, that what the hottest thing actually right now is the one-on-one allocation. I'm sure we'll talk about that a little later. But first, we have Adriel on, who is talking to us about FESCO. And he's saying something that he found interesting, which would catch everybody up, was that he was looking at the shareholdings of the FESCO directors, and he noticed that Hugh Core seemed to have increased his shareholding in between, who's the vice chairman of FESCO, in between the end of March and the end of June. He seemed to have increased his shareholding in FESCO to the tune of 8.4 million euros. Speaking to that. And that's where we are. So welcome, and go ahead, Jill. You're saying it's
So I was just
interesting.
wondering. Yeah, I was just wondering if it's a case where they may not have to report him increasing his personal. I'm still new to
I don't know, but I
the
want
whole
to boss.
industry thing.
No, man.
I think I'm going to do on your first point that they should have told us already.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's been an entire quarter. So
Not
Unless we miss it,
yeah, not just a quarter. The rules state that, like, I think they have
5 days.
5 days in which it has to be reported. 5 days from the point of the trade. Now, it's a good catch that you've caught. You have any ideas? Ideas I have might be around the incentive plan. So
as to why he may have increased his personal shareholding.
no, and not ideas around that. The thing that you pointed out is a big deal, at least to me. It's a big deal because in their trades, they're required their sales, they're required to report all of that, right? Their sales are their buys. This is a buy, and it's not an insignificant buy either. It's a large enough buy, and it happened during a time period that was reported on a few days ago. But like you said, there is no notice of the actual purchase. So, I mean, it's a point. It's a big point.
Yeah, it's very. I think it would be very important for investors and shareholders alike to know that this has happened, because I mean, this is. I think this is a point, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you there. It's a major point. It is something that invest. I mean, you are an investor, so don't think. I tell you this, because you said that you're new to the whole thing. Here's one thing I can tell you, and anybody who is new, don't think of yourself as being new. So I don't know much, and maybe other investors might blah blah blah. You are an investor, and the things that matter to you matter to investors because you are an investor.
Or an
So like
investor.
you,
Same
yeah,
thing.
man, you picking this thing up is a big deal. Even I didn't notice it. No, I think it's bad that the market rules aren't necessarily being followed there. But do I think that it's like something that was done deliberately to hide? I don't believe so. And like you
I
said,
don't. I mean, then they wouldn't report it. I mean, you
exactly,
mean, like we have it today anyway,
exactly.
and certain
Yeah, because
places will have to see it.
Mr. Core himself would benefit from the news being released, I'm sure.
I don't know.
I don't know
I don't
about that.
know
Why do you think
exactly
he
how
would
that one,
benefit?
but
Why do you think he'd benefit?
Yeah. I guess I am
stop,
of the
stop doubting yourself because we say we don't know. Just say what you feel. We can change our minds. We can,
Yeah,
or we
man.
can maybe agree with it and not be saying it. Just say what
Yeah,
you say,
man.
boss.
all right. So if I increase my personal, say I am a business owner, right, and I know what's happening in the business that other people aren't privy to. My company is public, right? I know that this company is going to do something extremely spectacular in, say, the next few years. As a shareholder, I figure that price, well, I can't predict how price moves, but I would like to believe that the price is determined by investors' outlook on a company. So if I'm doing good business, I will get positive outlook, mean positive price action. The value of the stock may increase. Who stands to gain? Me as a shareholder and a business owner. So I would want to increase my personal shareholding because of that. That is just what I am thinking.
Uh like I say, your thoughts as an investor are investor thoughts. You know my thoughts on what sets share prices. It's not a if or but thing. However, yeah, the perception around the company certainly influences
Influence is the thing that does whatever.
yeah, influences how people buy and sell. But so because of that, you think that Hugh Corden would benefit because if people know him by it, that's a mark
That's the
of
next thing people can look to.
confidence.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, so good look. I know what's going on, and I decide I want to risk 8 point odd million more shares in the company. And this is the first time he's increased his personal shareholdings. I even went back. I went through all their financials, and this is the most he's had as personal shareholdings within the company.
Yeah.
So
So
that is
that's how you're seeing it. Well, let me play devil's
and their
advocate.
financials are strong.
And the financials are strong. You had to drop that in. So
Yeah, yeah.
for me, you said the financials are strong. I'm not disagreeing. I don't think the financials are weak at all. Um, I don't think the financials are weak at all. But I'm saying I'd play devil's advocate. Let me say also I agree with you. It does show a sign of confidence. Me personally, I love when especially board members. I love when people in a company, but especially board members, and that's also another point about the one-on-one IPO where I like that their employee pool was oversubscribed. But we can touch on that later. Going back to Fesco, for me, it's a major. I like that about Fesco. I really like that about Fesco. It says that people directing the company truly have a stake in the company. I want it so that every single board member owns some shares. That's how I feel it should go. Every single board member on the board should own some shares in the company. Or otherwise, why are you on the board? How can I trust that the people on the board interest if the people on the board actually shareholders. That's my view. I believe like it is a mark of confidence for me personally when a company's board is filled with board members that own shares. Every single one. None of them should be share free. Having said that, though, I will, as I said, play devil's advocate and ask you: does it then make you lose confidence if directors sell?
Well, that depends. The whole point of invest is that you'd want to gain. You'd want to start with more than you began with, and the only way for that to happen is for you to take profit. So it all depends. Yes, you're going to have to sell because you want to take profit. Do you sell everything? No. Do you just sell some? That's what I would look at.
How much would a shareholder would a board member have to sell before you get worried?
It dep well, if it is multiple board members, then I'd get worried. If it's just one board member,
You know what? I'm with
probably
you also. If it's I agree with that one. So I'll tell you this: I don't put as much stock into whether or not a director sells, because in fact, in many ways, I'll respect a director if them kind of sell and buy back. If there's active enough trading, or if every now and then they cash something out, I don't mind that. Consistent selling by directors, though, that puts me off. That's like jam tea. That throws me off completely. It makes me worry. And that point you made, like if it's multiple directors selling, then I feel like them know something, right? What them know that I don't know. And I ask
yeah.
that
I mean,
because
if it's one man,
no, go ahead, Adriel.
if it's one man, if it's one man, that's fine. But then if every week you're seeing a news release about this one stock, say another director, so that's strange. Something happened. Something in the water.
Well, or something in the tea. But I asked that because Fesco, as I said, put out a notice today at the close of the market that a director sold 976,000 shares, 976,035 shares on August 17th, which is yesterday, day before yesterday, sorry, Wednesday, August 17th. And just have an idea of what that looks like in terms of amounts. Wednesday 17th, I think the director sold at 575, $5.75. So if we want us to play pocket watchers, that would mean that this director, assuming that they did sell at $5.75, it means that they cashed out 5.6 million Jamaican dollars on that date. Now, the FESCO board members, I think maybe only two actually. One has less than that. So Belinda Williams has only 250,000 FESCO shares. So we know it's not her that this notice speaks to. Or well, I'm assuming it's not her that this notice speaks to. Assuming there are no mistakes in the notices. But I think every other director who is also a shareholder can sell, except for Gloria Declue, who does not have any shares, and I figure that's their Gloria Declue probably represents their independent board member. But like I personally, like I say, I want all of them own shares. Even the independent one can own shares. It doesn't remove independence, but not owning shares does remove even the shadow of a doubt. Anyway, so outside of Belinda Williams, all of them could have sold the 976. Harry Campbell, I think, has the second lowest. And if he sold the 976, then that would make me fret because he has just 1.05 million shares. So that would say to me that that director is selling the majority of their shareholding. Now, I don't think that it's that director that sold it, but we won't know for sure until FESCO tells us exactly who it is, right? And that happens in the next report.
But if you look as well that
Mhm.
UCOR's connected party shareholding, it decreased as well. But it decreased, but the difference between its connected parties shareholding between as of March 31st and what came out for as of June, it is not equal to the amount that he acquired. So let me do some calculation.
So on the 31st of June, his connected party holding was 463. You know what that connected party is, though?
Let me do a Google search that I don't say anything wrong.
It's okay, you don't matter if it's not wrong. I understand the thinking because I pressure since I'm on it every week, but you don't have to worry about that sort of thing. I think, and I could be wrong. I think that it's the thing that was mentioned. They they have a pool that is related to employees and owners, right? And they've spoken about that pool and explained that pool from the prospectus. So they did tell us that that a connected party sold 19 million FESCO shares on May 2nd, and I suspect you'll see that the connected party, you'll see that the connected party holdings reduced by 19 million.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah,
it?
that's true. Yeah. The connected party shareholding decreased by 90 million as of from March 31st to the end of June. Let me do
I know.
19 million.
Are you telling me or are you asking me?
No, I'm going to check now. I had done all these calculations, but I can't find them now.
I get you. Okay. So at the end of March, what he had was 463 million, 301,175. And at the end of June, 443,938, 675. So at the end of June, he had 443,938,675 in the
19
connected
million.
party. 19.3 million, 19,362,500.
Yeah. So would that count as them telling us? No, that would just count as them telling us that the connected party sold 19 million,
Correct.
19.3 million.
And so to wrap it up, just not to be confusing, I believe that he got, so that incentive plan, he, as you've pointed out, is a FESCO service station dealer. He owns at least one, if not more, FESCO stations, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And
As
so,
of what the page says.
yeah, man. And so if there are units being issued as part of that incentive plan, it wouldn't be strange that he would get some of those units since he owns a FESCO service station.
Okay. And then the personal shareholding would show how much of the incentive he claimed for himself personally.
Well, how much of that incentive came to him? I don't know if it's a claiming thing. I'm sure they have like their own mechanic upon which they work, who gets what. Yeah, but and again, all of this is an assumption because I don't know. But that's what I think. I'm telling you my personal thoughts. What I think. I think that the incentive plan paid out 19 million units, and I think Hugh Core's portion of that incentive as an owner, based on I guess whatever their criteria is, was 8,372,153.
Into those one side, maybe not the next.
Yeah.
Because they really didn't, and the people that get a part of the incentive program are people that you would report as insiders in the company. So telling us they only tell us the one side when I believe they should have told us both.
Correct. Yeah, I believe that also. It would mean if it's correct that Hugh Core get almost half, 44% out of 19 million. Why not?
Delete and done.
Do it and done,
That's a
yes.
lot.
Yeah. In fact, if I got that many shares and if it's just a got, so it's not like it, maybe you didn't have to say they can never buy, but if it was just granted as part of it, because other companies do state when people are granted shares as a part of whatever. If he was granted it as a part of that scheme, is it that he got it at a certain price or does he just get it? So it's not
Get
really,
it.
he didn't really pay for
It's
it.
betraying.
Because if him just get it, would it still? I still think under JC rules, I think it
I
should.
think you see reported, right? Yeah.
I think so because other companies do it, but I don't
Agreed.
know.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's-
But for I just think on the principle of the thing that it should mean that any shares that are moving under the control or out of the control of a connected party, I think should be reported.
Should be reported. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's the essence of what they're trying to do with that ruling. So,
exactly. No,
Because it leaves
so
a
it's a
lot to
buyer acquire.
speculation.
What was the thing there?
exactly. And as you pointed out, Adriel, so well, that it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? I like that. It's not necessarily
Yeah,
a bad thing.
it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's 8
Could
million
be a
more
good thing.
shares. Yeah. In fact, this selling is it's so funny to me. All right, since you track them month to month, you know which director it is that sold 1.1 million units in March?
Nope.
No idea.
Someone. No, well, let me look at.
So in March, I'll just do a quick look. I'm actually asking, by the way. I don't actually know either. So at the end of
While I
March,
was looking at also said that Mr. Heaven increased his shareholdings to personal shareholdings.
well, and Mr.
And
Heaven
that's the
also
chairman.
owns a Fesco, doesn't he? In fact, he owned the first Fesco, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As one year in Mandeville.
correct. So I Mr. Heaven, to me, it would make sense for him to be part of the same incentive plan, right? So it would explain why they have more shares. No, just so that we look. It's like I like that you're thinking about this stuff. I'm not. I like that, especially you said that you knew when you're looking at this. This is what I like to hear from retail investors, that them taking them things serious. So yeah, so Trevor Barnes got more shares between the end of what is this, the third quarter?
Yeah. He's up 349 million from 344.
What them number them you want for me?
Yeah. so from December to March, in that 3 month period, Trevor Barnes increased his holding. Jeremy Barnes also increased his holdings. Harry Campbell kept his holdings flat. Hugh Core kept his holdings flat. Lyndon Heaven increased his holdings a little. Vernon James increased his holdings by, that's like, oh, 2 million more, 2 million more units. Errol McGaw increased his holdings by roughly 5 or 6 million units. Ethan Parkins also increased his holdings, and Junior Williams kept his flat. So Fesco directors buying between December and March. Now between March and June, June, Fesco directors are overall selling a little bit, maybe.
What's
Trevor
the
Trevor Barnes, not well. Let me be very accurate since you're looking on the actual things. Trevor Barnes did not decrease; he increased. That's like another 5 mil on. Jeremy Barnes kept his flat. Harry Campbell did the same. Hugh Core, as we were talking about, put on 8 million more. So Hugh Core really building up,
Oh, enough more.
right? Linden Heaven also increased by 2 million. Vernon James stayed flat. Earl McGaw increased by another 2 million. Ethan Parkins stayed flat, and Belinda Williams stayed flat, as did Junior Williams. And the senior managers also stayed flat. Senior managers need for join in. You can't make the board alone eat the food. You work there. I say it to all employees all
You
the
do the
time.
hard work every day. You know?
Yeah, man. If you work at a listed company, all if it's a crappy listed company in terms of the shares, buy it same way because you go work every day. Yeah,
Your effort that I paid.
yeah. Here's a
It's a
dot,
blood, sweat, tears, and dividends.
right? Exactly. Here's a dot. Between March and December, not December, between March and June, they added a senior manager.
Let me see if I can find the Easter egg.
Say that again.
I want to see if I can find. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they added a
Andrew Royal.
yeah, or Andre
Royce.
Royce. I don't know. His name's pronounced, but he
Royce.
added a senior manager. That in itself, I think, is a dot.
More
That's
work, they do more money on me.
right. And it's not just a employee; it's a senior manager. So it's a because it's reported. It's at a level where at least it has to be reported. So that in itself, I think, might be a dot for those of us who are fiscal gung ho people. There's Dre Pigglesworth, who always every week him come in and talk about fiscal. So him probably know this on top of it already. But I like that you're thinking about this. You had any other points on fiscal, Adrian?
No, I just wanted to say big up Grow. Big up everything that you're doing. And much respect for the few minutes.
Yeah, man, no man.
I'm a
Thank
part
you.
student at Grow, by the way. It's the best thing since last year.
I can tell.
I can tell also. I remember from your state, I realized laugh. No, since you're here, did you apply for the one-on-one?
No, but it's not. I don't want to discourage anyone by saying that.
Well, it closed and done, so
You done already, no? It's not discourage nobody from thinking that.
You can't apply again. So.
exactly. If you want to know, you just have to wait till it listed and buy it on the market.
But based on what I see, it look like me miss out how much I can wait. 5,002.23.
Yeah, well, that's the name of the game. It is what it is. So
Yeah.
you know going into it. If it makes sense for you, then but smart allocation if you have a certain level of money. If you have the $5,000, then good. If you're at $10,000, that's all you have, that's good. You get something out of it.
Yeah, man.
But
no, sorry, go ahead.
All right, the higher you go, then the less applying to the IPO directly work out for you in terms of how much money you put up versus what you get out of it.
Yep.
But then you're gonna have to wait and refund if you use up all of your money, right? And then all the discounted prices on the market you miss out on.
Well,
I'm assuming. Sorry.
No, I'm not saying no. You're sensible with that. You sound like you do grow for real. You're not necessarily wrong, but it's not a one size fits all answer. But what you're saying is a great consideration of or should be a great consideration, especially when it comes to IPOs going forward. As thinking earlier when I saw the allocations come out, I was thinking, boy, I make this noise all the time about practical investing and how those strategies really pay off, and this prospectus, this whole IPO, really show it, boy.
Oh gosh, man. Well, I don't know. I tell you, it's been comedy for me, man. That's the thing. So, in fact, since the allocation drop, it has trumped my humor at the dollar reporting. It is now this. That's us watching the upset that people are the shocked. Like, boy, oh, we forget just this. Yeah, man. And people are going off, man. It's wow.
I mean, yeah, dollar had the record. I don't know if dollar had the record, but dollar 2.5. I think they moved that to 2.6 or 2.63. So 2.6% is what the public pool got, and one-on-one kind of beat that even less. So, of course, like we say. By the way, thank you very much, Adriel. And if anybody have anything else they want to talk about, it doesn't have to be FESCO. It doesn't have to be access, which we're going to talk about later. It doesn't have to be anything. Whatever it is on the market you want to talk about, come on. You can ask your question or make your point or whatever. We would love to hear you. We'd love to talk about it. Send a speaking request. Just hit the speaking request button. We'll see it and we'll approve it and get going.
And thing that people.
No, go ahead.
No, finish. No, all right. Cool. As I said, those generally people, like, feel free. Really, if outside of the topic, very often the things that are interesting for us in the market aren't what exactly. But like looking at people reacting to whatever we're talking about going on in the market, yeah, that's interesting, whatever. But very often it was a strong talking point for us some time back. And now we just okay, it's in the public. If you want to talk about something that's not really interesting, those seem to be where the most of the interest that everybody have right now is, that's fine. Let's talk about it. Trust me, you very likely find us to be very interested in it. So come on, come on, talk about it.
Trust me, yeah, man. If you're watching on YouTube, look in the description. You'll see the link to the Twitter space. Click it and join us and ask your question, because you guys on YouTube always have some interesting points or some interesting questions. Or of course, people on Twitter, you can do the same. No, then I say that it's not necessarily like what the topic is that's the most interesting thing to us, and he's 100% right. I am almost never interested in just the topic, and I found that since I've been doing this, it's almost always the side thing that I never thought about that somebody comes on and asks us is a thing that is of ultra interest to me. Now, having said that,
what we do, right? Is the reason we often don't stay too long on topic, because somebody come with something nice and just sit down and talk about it for the rest of the evening.
Exactly. It's like last week. Then I don't know if people realize like how exciting I found the war gaming of the what would you do with the access? What would you do if you're running the QWI? Yeah, man. We did not talk about the damn IPOs. I have this big long list. People have this long list to go through of IPOs that we've gone through and IPOs that we expect to come, and the dates, and whenever 30 seconds I think we touch it for. I see Conrad just come on, and Conrad will get you in 1 second, but the brick cutter himself, Phil Berg, invest. All go on, Phil. Phil, can you hear us? I don't know if Phil hearing us at all, so I guess, all right. Conrad, what's up?
Well, Conrad, just cut the line, Conrad. What's going on? Everything good?
Hey, good night, gentlemen. You guys hearing me?
Yeah, everything good. What's going on, boss?
How you doing?
I'm good. I just want to echo the nice sentiment, and I think Randy mentioned it as well. I'm not too sure why everyone is continuously be surprised by the low allocation numbers. At the end of the day, it's just a matter of demand and supplies, and we know how much money leaves the market each time these IPOs come out, and we know how many shares are available. So when I hear people talking about investing or putting in 200,000 or 300,000, I don't quite see that logic. I don't know why they keep doing it again and again.
Boy, I'm agreeing. Yeah, hope is a strategy. So for me, let me point something out first. Let me point something out early. Let me point out that, especially these days, there are a lot of new people coming in. So,
Fair.
sorry, there are a lot of new people coming in. So I can understand somebody new not understanding it, right? As much as I push grow, which is my beginner investment class, and I tell everybody that you really should do grow. But even if you don't do grow, there are lots of other spaces where you're learning, you can learn slowly on your own, blah, blah, blah. A lot of new people, I can understand them looking on an IPO and thinking, okay, if you think about how the process works, is like there's this document and you apply. Some people are always thinking, first of all, you can hear it from when people talk and them say, yo, I hope I get what I asked, or I hope I get something. And when people talking about it, sometimes them say, oh, I did apply for the, let's say, the Spur Tree IPO and I never get nothing. And I mean, for me personally, that it's always a little pet peeve there, because everybody want, from you apply for the IPO, you're going to get something. You might not get all you want, but you're going to get something, right? Assuming that your application is correct or whatever, you're going to get something. Now, what people really mean is that them don't get all that they want. And again, I can understand a beginner thinking that, because a beginner probably isn't thinking.
They just don't know, say, that's what IPO, I feel that's a big thing. People
Yeah.
don't know the IPO thing, them think them apply,
Exactly.
and that's what them get. If I give you money, they think that's a transaction. They think I am buying these shares from you, and I give you my money, and I was supposed to about all the shares that I didn't pay for, right? And then the refund come and then vex say, boy, wait, and they don't get it. These are the available things, as Conrad said, the balance supply. If everybody wants somebody's little bit of thing, then we have to share it up, and then that's what happens. You know the thing go, the man with the 10 grand vex say only get 5 grand. But then the man with the 5 grand, him say, boy, him do it, do the IPO, him get through, him money triple and him nice. Him come to the next IPO now, things say, yeah man, my 15 can work for some reason. I mean, I think that's the thing that too. You do it at the lower level, it work out for you. You never recheck how the IPO thing work. You just figure out what the IPO thing are. If I can get my money in, I got 15 grand out of 5 grand. Imagine I go with 15 grand. Imagine I thing at 20. Yo, we can find 15, you know, and then it work out, they run go. And not go so. You never recheck out the IPO thing. Go. It is just you think the IPO thing, you give them money and it triple, you get your thing and you go about your business. And I think that leads a lot of people. Just not really checking how the thing actually work. They just, boy, I get some here, and I hear my brother that do it last time and tell me say, yo, but put my 5 grand, it become 15 IPO, I come week and they do whatever, come to Trans Jamaica. That kind of thing follow.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that is that.
Yeah.
I think you make a pretty good point. And, you know, at the end of the day, the more people that come into the market, the better for all of us. Because the more money in, the more money available for all of us to use.
I agree. But we don't want what we don't want is, at least I don't want people coming to the market and being frustrated.
I don't want to come and get a negative sentiment of improper expectations.
Exactly.
I don't want people to believe that the market don't make sense for them because it worked this one time and then the next time, and then the first thing come out of their mouth, they rob you, it's a scam, this IPO thing don't make sense, the market are foolish. You hear a lot of that.
Yeah.
And you really, and you think of every person that was going to invest, no really know nothing, but the last guy you spoke to was that you did the IPO, and as far as him concerned, them thief him money. Yeah. Or them take him money, use it what they want to go do, and then give him back in 30 days. Little bit. And I don't want that to be the thing. That will be the story that everybody else here speaking to a person like that.
Yep. And boy, it's so funny. I felt so much pressure. I've kind of felt bad when I was saying to people before this IPO and before dollar also. I say it as plain as I can to people. So we can even go back and check. If you're on the episodes on YouTube, you can go back and check and hear me say it. People talking about the prospect, people talking about IPO, them like it, and I said to them, say, yeah, but you know, you're not really getting nothing in it, right?
Yeah.
And also, I make it very, very clear to people too. You're not gonna get the shares on day one of the listing either. You're also not going to get it on day 2. You're also not going to get it on day 3. If you're lucky, you might get it on day 3, but you're probably not going to get it on day 3. Day 4, you might get it, but you probably won't want to buy it on day 4. Because the $1 IPO, me not pay $3 fee. That's
Yep. That's
how
the sentiment immediately.
and because I know that that's how the sentiment is for so many people. Um, I'm just very. It seems almost mean, but it's not. It's not meant to be mean at all. It is me trying to make people understand that your expectations need to be managed up front, and it's not that there's anything wrong with the process. It's that something is wrong with your expectations, right?
You just
So
don't actually know what you're talking about.
yeah, man. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. If you're new, you knew. There's absolutely
Not
nothing
one
wrong with
thing.
that. But the thing you should
But
take
what you
from
need
it
to do
is
check.
exactly check, find out, educate yourself. I pushed all the time. I have a class, grow. You want to learn about investing. Next week is the first sitting this month of grow, the split one for the people that don't have a lot of time. And but you access it everymickle.com/GRWR. Come to grow. You will learn this. You can ask every single question you want to ask, big or small. If you want to ask anonymously, you get an anonymous option so you don't have to feel bad. There's lots of options there for you. But learn. If you don't want to come to grow, go in. If you have a friend that know about finance, ask them the hard questions and don't take no worry about that as an answer. I'm saying no worry about that, but you are worried about it. You need to get a clear answer. You need to understand it. Because this is still one of the greatest, not the one of, this is still the greatest route for wealth creation for regular people. And I don't want people to be turned off by what is a good thing. I'll draw a reference again to a tweet that I had from long ago saying that, yo, when it comes to IPOs, you should want some tiny allocations. If you're excited about the if you're excited about the stock, you should want some wicked 1% thing, single digits thing. That this is what you should want. So imagine how hard it is. Imagine how hard it is for somebody who knows and wants more people to join the market to see people complaining about what in my book is a good thing. So the fiscal allocation for the public was 2.3. You get, what was it? 5. I don't want to get it wrong. It was 5,000, your first 5,000 shares, and then 2.23% for anything above the first 5,000 shares. So you are looking at a tiny allocation if you applied for anything over $5,000. I mean, if you applied with $10,000, you're looking on I think what, 5,100 something like that. $5,000 little bit. I worked out earlier in the girl subscribers group, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah,
2% of $5,000.
2.3%, 2.23% of your no, yeah, of the $5,000. Jesus. Whoa.
Wow. But I think, again, I want to definitely, I know exactly what Conrad is saying, though, because I've also seen people that I expect to be in the know are disappointed. I'm not necessarily that I'm a big expert here, maybe some, but like I'm seeing people that definitely we're talking around the same talking point in dollar, the same for spur tree, the same for learn. And I'm looking at it like you were here for 4 times, so what's going on? Right? Like how are you still surprised after the 4 times the same thing happened, and the expectation you had was that your bag of money would still work out for much more than so.
Yeah.
And I don't like think that I kind of don't even like the conversation, because when it leads to this, then I don't want people to take it as it don't make sense to apply for the IPO. Those stuff will make sense for you and what you want. So if you come with your money and you say, if I go with $1 million and the amount I get in the IPO I expect to double or triple or whatever makes sense for me, and whatever I do with the refund, then go do that. But for me personally, it don't make sense for me. But if you are, boy, suppose you're the guy that say, boy, it's got a nice thing I want to buy a lot of, because down the line I expect, this way, like in a year's time, this can do really well. And I just want to get any amount of units I can for as cheap as I can. So you go to the IPO and you go buy it again on the market and all of that thing. fine, go ahead. So it's not that it don't make sense to apply to IPOs. It's not that your money don't make sense going there. That's up to you to decide. And my quant is the people have the expectation outside of that. them 1 mil going to IPO, them 1 mil flip, and everybody else wicked. No, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So really, there's an information gap.
Huge.
I want people to apply, put in their 20 or 30 grand in the IPO, but keep the bulk of their capital for when it leaves.
Well, I don't mind. I don't. The people I want that to not happen to are people I are interested in them money thing there. Over a very subscribed IPO with people thinking in millions and going at it hard. I don't mind that. That makes sense. If it makes sense for you, I just don't want to hear the complaining of, boy, this is stupid because the thing I did never make sense for what I wanted from it. That don't make no sense. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
Full of the IPOs, subscribe them out, whatever. Because the companies want the money. Meaning, honestly, if they were to get the exact amount of money they will ask for and thing there, that might not be so pretty for the market. For now, based on what the market is. But end of the day, I'm good with that. End of the day, I'm going to decide what I want out there, right? So it is what it is. I don't have a horse in the race outside of this not make no sense. And you're coloring other people's vision of what exactly this thing is.
Yeah, man. It's realizing that somebody has to be that bad guy, which is why I'm always so very clear on telling people that you're not gonna get that. Conrad, that thing you just said though, that sounds very interesting to me. You say you want people to apply with the 20 and 30 grand, and that's that's your strategy.
That's pretty much my strategy. I assume my allocation is gonna be low. I always assume it's gonna be about 5 grand plus a couple percent.
5
So
grand.
I want to make sure. I want to make sure I get the base and then whatever on top. But I just don't expect it to be too much. And then really, if I like the stock, then I'll buy it on the market.
So you didn't apply 5. I'm not used to people saying 5. Even I didn't think around the lines of 5 grand. Last week I remember what was that we were saying that I know I saw in the group that somebody saying that you got it on the nose. Like we're looking at maybe 2%. 2% are low.
I honestly don't remember, honestly.
Yeah,
I remember the 2%. I remember the base I said. I know we brought up lumber and said it would be. I don't think it's going to be exactly the 10 grand. It can be, but I wouldn't expect it based on comparison to the dollar pool. The amount of money that went there, the dollar versus the amount that was available, and then reflect it against amount of money going here versus what's available. I wouldn't say that. I think less than the 10 grand makes sense, and probably the 2% on top. I don't remember the exact base I said though. Maybe the 5 grand.
Yeah.
Well, I find that to be an interesting strategy. 5 grand, I think, threw almost everybody off, unless the people who applied for like just 5 grand alone. That is a great strategy if that's what you did. And if all you had was 5 grand, congrats. I suspect you're about to have a lot more. Well, I ask you, since we're now in that time, Conrad, what was your plans when you get your refund?
It's going to depend on how the market looks at the time.
Well, when we think you get your refunds?
What are your considerations so far?
Well, right now, my strategy has really been to hold capital until I see something that is an obvious buy. I'm not trying to buy stocks that are at a fair price. I'm trying to buy stocks that are really undervalued and are worth more than they're selling at.
I think that's
so. I'll give you.
I think we all do that.
I'll
hope
give
we
an
all do
example.
that.
When Fontana fell to $8 something the other day, this week, that is when I try to buy.
Okay, so you're looking on Fontana.
When it was low. I think it's back to $9 something now.
$9.09 is what it closed at today.
Yeah, which still isn't. I don't think that's high, but when every time it dips below $9, I will buy Fontana.
Okay. That's depending on your goal, of course. That's not necessarily the worst strategy. $9. That's interesting. So let's say you get your one-on-one refund. Let's say, I mean, at the base allotment is out now. So let's say you get the one-on-one refund Monday. What do you think you're buying?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the market and have to look at Monday. And if I don't see something I really want, then I just won't buy at the time.
Word. Okay. Boy, I wish I could do that.
What's stopping you?
I always see something that I want. Yeah, there's always.
It's almost like we're doing the same thing, but we're not. Meaning, so
Yeah.
yes, we're always. Well, I hold. Yes, I hold capital until I want something to buy, but then the holding is a much shorter period. It seems like between us. I'm not trying to hold capital in truth. I really don't. I mean, I don't imagine that you are. The idea is, I'm going to, if I have the money in my hand, I'm going to try to find something same time.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'd rather be sure.
Oh, yeah, you're no. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying yes, that surety you have, that's saving you from whatever anything you go to, and if it don't work out, I'm sure you feel much better at the end of the day than if boy you were rushing to buy something and then boy it really mash up and you felt like you were doing it just out of haste.
Yeah.
So it really what make you sleep at night, to be honest.
Right. And I don't have the time to watch every single day. I don't watch the market every day. And
oh, you don't need to. Neither do I. That's not needed for profit.
I want to say I don't. I know I don't do it in that way, but I kind of have to because I'm talking to somebody and then I have to check the market.
Yeah, but I don't. Well, I check it every day, but I'm not on the market every day to buy. Yeah, and oftentimes I'm not there when the market closes, and then I check the market 4 p.m. or 3 a.m. You don't have to watch the market every day to make money. That's a common misconception that people have. People, especially to make serious profit, people think that you need to be in front of it every day. And boy, a heavy trader.
I'm sure people hear Connor does know one thing. Yeah, man, you're right. I don't think Connor necessarily like that, but I'm sure people take it as yeah, man. That makes sense and whatever.
Yeah, it's not. It's not what's needed.
And I might go further. I don't think it's healthy to watch it daily.
Why you say that? Why not?
When you're always watching it, you can see things or patterns that aren't really there. And you're always going to be stressing on it. You can see a little bit lower, your percentage dropping. Sometimes it's better to just check in every now and then when you know the time frame.
I think that's also a personal thing. Because I wouldn't have, in the days when I was watching it every day, that when I got past a certain point, meaning okay, I at that point I figured I knew what I was doing a lot more, and watching it every day wasn't as. I mean, yes, I saw something to do, but it wasn't that it ended up working bad for me or whatever. It was okay. Like, I was documenting and going along and whatever. I'm finding something else, and it never became. It never became a panic buy situation.
Yeah. And oftentimes you want that. When I say want that, you want, if you have the time to pay attention to the market, again, you do not need to do that to make money. It is, you can make significant money without doing that. That's a common myth.
Then you if you can move away from the point where you see patterns that don't exist, and so if you can actually step back and say, okay, the testing after that, okay, see the pattern, and you can actually ask yourself, is it real? And you actually do the testing to make sure it's real or not, then that works out for you. If you go in there and every day, the first thing you see, you make a decision in your head and then so it go and you never retest it, then definitely end up in a problem.
Yeah, man. The real issue is not the watching it every day. It's the not being able to verify if what you think is a pattern or a sign is really a sign. That is actually the real risk. And
Back
so
to school, come back in, Randy.
yeah, back to
I hear it again, man. I hear the back to school. The back to school stocks reach again.
yeah, but the funny thing is, this might be the first year
Wait, real.
where it actually has an impact on the market, just because of the
level of
size.
retail interest in the market.
Yeah,
People who have, I actually need my money to do whatever, and
the
yo,
back to
actually, I'm gonna
school.
put it for school, and maybe even be in the market for back to school. That's a way more reality, So that kind of thing. Those actual ties to regular people life and how the market move, we're actually seeing the stocks move heavily on the basis of retail interest. That was much harder in 2017. In fact, I would say we were looking at the bigger guys way more than looking at what retail was looking at, because think how often we had the conversation around, or you had it, telling other people you want to buy ahead of the funds. Because that's what the funds are. That's what the analysts looking at. You have to think like the analyst, so you can say, all right, this is what the analysts will do. Because when the fund reach, that's when the market moving.
Exactly.
That was more likely the case than the retail thing. Even IPOs never look anything like this.
Yeah. Yo, Fesco's allocation, Fesco's allocation was I think 43%.
40%. Yeah, and it's a nice allocation. Small base and 40% on top of it.
Yeah. Fesco's allocation in April last year was 43 point.
April 2020.
2021.
2021. Well,
Yeah.
you're right.
April 2021. Fesco not listed a year and a half yet.
Each thing that again, I said 2020 because I think in my days at Mayberry.
Yeah.
But yes, I was actually at Mayberry last year. I just remember that. Wow.
Time flies, right?
Indeed.
Yeah, but 43.9% over 1,000 shares is what Fesco's allocation was.
Nice allocation. Look at the price did right after that.
Amazing allocation. What happened? That's a good question. What happened right after?
It was wonderful for a nice time. We even heard it never made no sense. Oh yeah, man, you see? People treat it like foolishness because they never get the pop.
That's true.
That we're looking at. The triple double, the IPO come save the day was Fesco. And it never happened. Jesus, Fesco foolishness after that.
That is so true. And then it's after the first year results came out in July that it kind of go up to 144. Even then, it not giving 100%. Jaja.
So all that too. That might even be a strong reason. It's funny. The immediate general IPO comes, this is a foolishness, whatever. I think that the slow rise allowed a lot of people to get in at different points along the way. So a lot of people jumping on it and keep getting in profit. And that might be the retail sentiment for Fesco might have been helped by that. Because for a whole year, no matter where I jump on, I make money.
I never thought of that, Cause yeah, it was so flat. You know what? Let me stir the pot a little bit. Adding to your point, Danai. If this kind of, let's say, stock rollout, this sort of IPO, where you get a little pop at the IPO, 80 cents to a height of 110.
Good profit.
37.5% profit, right? And then it stayed there until the first year results came out in July. So this thing listed in April. 3 months later, the first year results came out, and it still don't touch 100% yet. It fly up to 144, and it didn't touch the 100% until middle of July, or the middle of July, right, when it started hitting 160. Now that happened, and fast forward to where we are now, and we saw the heavy Fesco rise in in February, March, thanks to the retail market and Putin, really. And when the invasion happened, and that happened around the same time, and everybody got to be outside, the share price spiked wickedly, all the way up to 460 something, right? Yeah, I just really looking at what really is a quiet gain. Now, with that in mind, consider what JFP looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Consider
Anyway,
what
we said it. It's funny. We said this. We in fact when JP listened and the quote unquote pop was weak. We said it. We said this looks festive. It can be if they deliver and people really get behind it. I know a lot of people have expectations about JP because I meet a lot of people that recently bought JP. A lot of people that other clients. I never talk about that thing there. Clients that we never spoke about going to JP. After when we come back, when we meet again, them have JP in their portfolio, right? Like maybe sometime it work for the goal they have in mind, sometimes not. But at the end of the day, I know a lot of people are looking at it. And I think that can be that kind of movement. If they deliver and start meet people what people actually want out of it, then could be the second coming. It also reminds me of Lumber.
Lumber, that's a good one. Lumber was lame, quote unquote lame for a long time.
And then it was great.
And then it wasn't, right?
I remember in our conversations when Lumber thing there. And our conversations not with us, we had a lot of conversations with other people around Lumber. And the pop was the lack of a pop was a general is a foolish situation as well. And then I remember saying that people we are almost dumbfounded that people just never get that. This is great if you have you have a lot of units but you kept buying up, but you don't get a little pop enough pop you want or whatever. And people came to a lot of fear in there. And a lot of our conversation was just you really can't just wait in it. Your goal is whatever. And nobody really seemed like with whatever coming. That was funny to me. And then looking at it now, I remember we had a lot of them because we could have get it for so cheap for so long.
Yo, this might so again going back to your point, Conrad. This might actually be a pattern that's developing, right? And it sprinkle a whole heap of salt on this being an actual pattern, but it seemed like the real IPO win is if people don't realize the value early. Right? Lumber was a long time ago. Right? But funny enough, Lumber's allocation, I believe, is a lot more like
tiny.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot like one-on-ones or dollars.
You know worse. $2 and what? How much above it?
8.2.
8%. $2,008%.
Yeah. 8.2%. And back then, this is 2019, different market from even the market now.
That was coming out of, if you look at 2019 and before, the allocations were much bigger. So that thing that was that, a lot of people hated that. And that was I was walking application too. So people will go Mayberry with them application and vex. So I can't believe, my original still running jokes and can't believe the tech bus go down on Mayberry, give you the application and a $2,000 shares him get.
Oh boy. That is a really different thing, but that might really be a pattern.
I think it's a pattern, but it's a pattern for me. But I think the part when I say that, I know exactly people don't take it the right way. People are going to take it as, or some people, I'm not sure. People don't realize the points that lead into that pattern forming. The things you have to look out for that type of thing.
Well, that's true. Well, I mean, on a simpler level, the pattern, as I'm seeing it now, is small rise at IPO, ignored mostly by the market, and then it meanders. It stays kind of at a level price for months until suddenly everybody gets a reason to realize it's great, and then boom, it take off, right? Yeah. Months. And I'd say like what? This is Fisco was April, and it didn't, if we call the doubling point, it didn't double until the late July, and didn't really fly until August. So like 4 months, and after it flew in August, it kind of came back down and it settled around the price it did right up until year end. I go right up until like the end of 2021. It was still below $3, and then when the whole oil thing happened and people started to realize the value in it, and it flew, right? Lumber IPO'd late 2019. So this thing would have IPO'd around the time when everybody was hyping about mail pack and also hyping about expecting Trans Jamaica. That was late 2019, early 2020, right?
2020,
Yeah,
yeah, 2019, 2020. Yeah.
yeah, I think so. And stayed low for months. IPO'd in December, stayed up to September. It was low, I think even lower than IPO price, lumber.
Mm-hmm.
And then took off by March of the next year. March meaning 2021. So the initial spike, the drop once the flippers get out of it, and there were a lot less flippers back then. And then it stays low until people realize the value, have a reason to realize the value, and then it flew to a height of 300 odd percent or 200 odd percent on top of its IPO price, or 100 odd, it was 140 something, right? So 100 odd percent on top of its IPO price. So see for fiscal,
Think of how crazy you sound to a lot of people. You're buying out of the flop, the IPO quote unquote flop, because people they made the JP flop. As much as
That's
it's a
true.
bag of money, they make a bag of money on it. In fact, you get a better allocation. So you're very likely to have a better base. So the money you make there, if you put the same money to JP as one-on-one, you probably got more in it, and get the movement you get work out better for your total in terms of profit for you there. And people have a JP flop. So imagine when you tell people, say, I'm buying JP, or I was buying Fesco or Lumber, but the flop IPO there, really, I think, you're the idiot. You buy it after it falls. Should I buy IPO and flip and cut?
Yeah,
And me, and you myself too.
that's true. That's true. Because a lot of people looking for that to get out in this time here. This spike right here of the
Market
double
don't
and the
exist for a lot of
triple.
people. It's an IPO and then when is the next one?
Exactly. And the funny thing is, well, I don't want to give away too much of the strategy, but like I said, there are strategies around IPOs now, and it has to shift. I will tell you, like I told the people in my group, that the worst strategy now is when I take my money, scrape up all my money, and throw it all out at the IPO. That is the worst strategy now, and it's not going to get any better, and it shouldn't. Again, my personal
That's
view,
all the money is 5 grand.
yeah, unless all your money is 5 or 10 grand, you probably shouldn't be doing that. There are other strategies you should employ depending on the level of money you have. And as I said, I think of this as a good thing, right? I want to be very, very clear. I think of this as a good thing. I don't think that we should be, how would I say? I don't think that we should be expecting or wanting anything else. I said it in January. I said it before then, and I'm saying it now. You should, if you are excited about a company and they're IPOing, and you want to buy in, you should buy in if you want to buy in. But you should also expect that the allocation is going to be tiny, and you should want the allocation to be tiny, because it means that more people are interested in the company. At the end of the day, that's what you're going to need over more time than just day one. Because the truth is, you're not going to sell on day one anyway. You're not going to sell on day two anyway. And you're going to think about selling on day three, and you might, but you're probably going to sell on day four or later on. And you're probably not going to buy, you're not going to be able to buy on day one. You're not going to buy on day two. You're probably not going to be able to buy on day three. You will be able to buy on day four, but you're not going to buy on day four. You're going to say, me not buy. Because when you look on the day four price and you see the wicked, I don't know, what will be on day four. Me not buy it for $3.06 or $3.01. Because why would I buy it over $3 when it was just $1 with it? That's what a lot of people are going to say. Yeah. And there might be a shift in how it goes. That look like a very clear pattern to me. So JFP actually look right now like it's in its it look like it's in the it looks like it's in, let me use Fesco. It look like it's in this stage, the flat stage where people are ignoring it. And we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago in Adonai, but I spotted today, and I spotted it, and I remember you saying it today, where there was a big amount in the queue again. Maybe they took it out, but there was like a 2 million order in the queue again. I'm like, that's a lot of units to risk. Still a lot of units to risk.
If a unit's curious.
Yeah, if
Well,
you
yeah,
leave
after
it,
those results, man, like if you read it, but if it fits the goal and everything, I think something good here for you. Because after those results, price will fall again. The flat phase, something nice. If you're based on what if JFP makes sense for you, I can't see you complaining right now. If you are, then you probably need to take a second look or reevaluate.
yeah,
Hey, that's why I think,
yeah,
right? Who was it last week? Daniel, Loading, that's his name.
Lodenko, yeah.
Yeah, he when he said, he likes JFP, but nobody's talking about it. I thought he was doing the usual, boy, I'm like that's talking about nobody now talk about it. I thought it was meaning to start going down, and it's a bad thing. But he said, no, man, nobody's talking about it, and that's a good thing. I can buy more for no whatever. Yeah, so.
And I'm the same way. I, as I say for Eddie Focal, I don't own enough. Eddie Focal also had good results this week.
So I almost wish they didn't.
You wish that they had bad results? Why?
I almost wish so. I know that after coming off of the last results, where the results before a lesson, where people were disappointed because 2 million was somewhat far fetched right off an IPO, according to many. But the imagine that result, then a bad results. How much units would have start flood out and people start selling and the
That would have
cheaper
been
and cheaper and cheaper. I
that
wouldn't
would have been
complain.
great. That would have been great. Even though I think people might still sell
I think
heavily.
no, I think people will.
Yeah, I'm
I think
hoping.
the results are very close to now. So the results were out very recently, looking good. But you know the thing, it hard is a case where results will get a nice movement immediately. So even I don't think people are looking at it just yet in terms of a strong thing there. And it might not even be thing there. It might not even be our next results or whatever. But I think we should, if you're really looking for some units, you should be able to see some coming down across the market thing there. I don't know if I would have wanted to say that so publicly.
Well, we would have to say, but I'll continue to say I don't own enough. JFP too, I don't own enough. But Eddie Focal, I am. Well, we said it before, no. I still
I
maintain
know.
it. Feel free to sell.
No, yes, that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying. If you would ever
yeah.
sell Eddie Focal and that you hear then I say this thing, no listening, of which to matter. Why? Go sell it, go sell some. Sell
Feel
it
free
out.
to sell.
Get out.
Feel free to sell.
In fact, go sell it and go buy it one-on-one. Or wait for the next IPO. Something.
There is that because a lot of people like to we say as Jamaicans, we invent competition and
Oh yeah. I was
yeah,
thinking about that, but no. I was thinking about okay, let's go to IPOs with the thing there. But
we get
yeah,
money.
people invent
Yeah,
competition and betting.
yeah,
Some
man.
sound like some I don't really know much about this thing, but yeah, man. Them two they learn on learn on the teaching company somehow. And it's funny. We are the people that don't need that. We're the guys at the back. We're not in Edifocal. We're not in one-on-one. We're the guys with the option to buy both. And somehow we decide that buying both don't make no sense. It's either one or the other because one can do good while the next one do good.
Yeah, it's I don't know what kind of thinking it is. It's just how we are.
I
It's the
think it's
thinking
I
that
think it's an ignorance thing. And not
yeah,
not saying I just don't actually know what's going on with the companies, or I don't really know how these things really work. And I'm taking everything at a surface of the first thing I hear, and that is what it is. So this company teach XYZ, this company teach XYZ. So must be their whole business is set up against each other, and then as far as you're concerned, you're understanding of businesses, competition is a terrible thing. Again, how much time is this competition reach and people decide say the thing done? Look on SPL. They
yeah.
decide say this stupid.
It's that
Oh
idea
God,
that we have
them
that
get a new thing there. Them
that
get pressure
competition
now.
kills. Yeah, that if there's somebody else in the sector, then the company dead and oh god,
Yeah,
it can't work. Like, no. I always ask people, Burger King open up new branches. You see the line outside KFC get any shorter? Like it's still there, right? More two businesses can exist in the same sector. In fact, oftentimes you should want that. You should want
it often
multiple.
helps. It often helps the business too.
Yeah.
Just the space being bigger, just the available customer. Think I do I want to go too far into the example. It might become boring, but just say Kingston, New Kingston before the KFC and the Burger King bill, right?
Mm-hmm.
If when the first one built, then okay, this is a launch option for XYZ people, and X amount of businesses are bought. But why? I mean, not really have much launch option because everybody in the line. So I can decide to bring launch or whatever. The more launch options in New Kingston come up, then the more businesses are around. More people going to look and say, boy, I been working in New Kingston because we can find lunch at KFC, Burger King, whatever. Everybody start eat more. So
rising tide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's a sort of thinking that we need to get past, and I also don't mind. I see them telling me in the groups I need to stop talking about learn, call it David up. It's the same thing I always say. It's the same thing. What I'll say is, I mean, look at the last results. As of now, they are ahead of where they were in the end. They've put out 2 quarters worth of results, and the profit is higher than what it was in all of the previous year. And Gordon is very, very competitive. As I said, we had a private session with him in our girl group, but I've said it here, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. He's very, very competitive. So I look forward to seeing what the future holds there. But I don't own enough. And there are, you understand, Conrad? Sorry, going back to your point, Conrad. You understand why there's always something in the market for us then to buy?
Yeah, I understand your point, and I'm reading between the lines of the examples that you gave.
Yeah, man, I cannot tell the last time I looked on the market and thought, there's nothing I'd buy. There's nothing that's worth my money. That I cannot. It's been years, literally years and years and years. I don't think there ever has been.
The ideal situation is broke pocket, no cash.
Yeah, everything in the.
As much as I think I've never felt peace like when I look at my J trade and it sense and I even then more aspect.
Yeah. Find something.
Siboney.
You talk about Siboney, people gonna start invent stories.
Yo, Siboney, there. You see the thing there? You see the heart loan thing there? I think
it halted down this week. I don't know.
2 times?
I should set up an alert actually for that. Let me set an alert for that. Big up my money JA that allows you to do this.
No, that's Siboney shareholders was about my SSLVC shareholders.
Why?
Because music is dead and it get buyout. SSLVC go dead and it get buyout. And Siboney did it for how long? And every minute they hear about a buyout or expectations of a buyout, every time it come around, it come off the table. But I mean, still waiting a thing there in a music.
That has worked out well. Oh wow, I see what you mean. Yeah, it halted down today. A big halt. Halted down today, and it's now down to 45 cents. Versus SSLVC, which has changed its name.
It was not meant to be.
No, it has changed its name. I forgot that. So it changed its name to MFS. The name change was months ago in terms of the approval, but the June 15th
was recently.
Yeah, the actual.
I'll get tweet about the
ticker change.
That guy. The double ticker thing. I'll get tell the world how this is the kind of thing that can be dangerous, guys. I can't about that. That's a conversation I was never gonna have.
What's that? Go ahead. Tell people what it was.
MFS, SSLVC, the ticker, so you could have get up and buy it when MFS was introduced on the market. So they didn't change the SSLVC to MFS. So MFS had its own queue and own trading, separate from what SSLVC was trading on the same day. And apparently all the trades were combined together as valid across both of them at the end of the day. That's the word I got. All trades were seen as valid, despite whichever ticker you traded on.
That is crazy. This is
this was when? That was earlier this week. Wednesday?
No, I don't think so. I think the name change happened
yesterday.
Yesterday,
all right.
Yesterday being Thursday, yeah.
Thursday. Mm-hmm. Imagine you were looking to buy SLVC at what the price now? 340. Just at 340. And it was trading at 340 over at MFS. And you never get to buy any shares because you thought it was SLV still. And then you hear to the trades that on the thing that wasn't there. So I was trying to buy through SLVC, and it never worked out. And then here say all the trades on SLVC that happened today were still valid towards the thing there, and the trades that were happening at my price over there, so were still valid too.
The prices were different?
Yes.
Word.
You don't have it presented here.
No, at the back end we had a problem. And looking on,
I know you combined it. So I don't know if you can see it.
JC covered them tracks.
To check both of them being separate.
I can't,
because then you can't go back on JTrader and say actually bought.
No, because the funny thing is that on JTrader, yeah, and it's only they don't have the history.
Yes,
that's crazy to me. Because SSLVC
has there's stock history we don't have anymore. There's stock history, meaning while MFS's history that should have been SLVC. So SLVC ticker, MFS ticker, if there's a combination of the trades happen, that means are we showing the full history for SLVC on this page right now?
Well, all right, no, we're not. Because as you see, the history seems to start from August 18th. We're missing years of information, but also the idea of, so you're saying that on August 18th, if even for a minute, there were two values for the same company stock.
It's a free arbitrage. that gets, you see, so I was going to be that guy with that. Wow. I was actually going to bother. Yeah.
You know what I've found in the years that we've been talking about this, so that the podcasts are just talking in groups or talking here on Brick Talk. I've found that like the things that I used to be worried about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was probably just too early. So there were problems, but I was just too early. So as the only guy balling, yo, what is happening? It's a big deal. You shouldn't be doing it. Yada yada yada. I don't argue with the JC anymore.
Look on the bottom about the circuit when the circuit breaker rules, the time when we said that never really goes so, and we check it and we flip it and we show whatever. And we were chatting too much, bro. Yeah. And the rule changed, nothing said to anybody. Yeah. And then them still not follow it, and we caught, and then the rule and the wording of the rules shit. But we were the guys chatting too much.
Yeah. So
especially that RTO guy.
Yeah.
And think of the things that are said whenever the danger, the what do you call it? What I call it? The doomsayers. Oh God, this is dangerous. It's almost never dangerous. When something actually, Jano, that can be a legal issue, that can be actual dangerous happens, it's mom. Nobody says anything. There's no balling about it. And yes, somebody says me coming up about, I wasn't balling yesterday. I was balling privately, but I don't go make no bag of noise about it. Because at the end of the day, I don't feel it would go anywhere. And the place where I saw, okay, people talking about whatever happened, it was, okay, this is what happened, guys, let's move on. And I was like, wait, that kind of shaky still.
Yeah, so I bring up the years ago point because now that we have a lot more retail people in the industry, like I see a lot of things happen that I was warning about years ago. I was paying for it now. Stuff we argue about now, like I know I made a conscious decision to make the public understand how dangerous an APO is for you as a retail investor. The reaction to it at least from the experts, has been interesting. You wouldn't believe that I'm trying to protect people's money, since that's not my job. But but I have chosen to stick with it because of how impactful I know it is on the overall market. Something like this, if it's even one day where there's on the same market two prices for the same stock, the same company stock, when the company only have one class of issued stock, that's a big deal.
Mr. Man, cut the line in the queue. That 340 example, if somebody else decided to buy at 330, and while my trade is not sitting on at 340, and I would have been the next trade if it was supposed to be right, there's a next guy over there buying for 330 and cutting in front of me. And him trades valid.
It's a false market. That's one of the things that the law anyway.
You get me? I think really and truly that can be something that can go to court.
Not can.
I know. I'm talking in the. I think that should go to court.
Well,
but that's for whoever in them lawyer.
I leave that to the experts to worry about. I
That's
truly
true.
don't
Yeah.
miss. I truly don't miss.
Randy, here I am. Me and my clients will have that conversation.
Yeah, I
That's
wish I'd
crazy.
seen it though, because it must have been arbitrary. Well, if there are two different
It
prices,
definitely is. Two different
yeah.
price. Yeah.
What was the price at the end of the day?
For which one? The thing there? Yeah, that's the thing too. We combine how the VWAP combine. I can actually check back if the VWAP is right.
That is true.
If SLVC disappear and I can't go recheck back on it, then
That
how do
is
I know that the VWAP is actually correct for the combination that you said was done? And then that kind of the average, and then since there was a false market, how I see it, then what kind of average that? We're averaging trades across two different tickers for the same company. I think people much understand. I think people the easy understanding is suppose an IPO comes, both of us in the general pool, and you hear it's a random, but your shares are a little bit higher than mine.
Yeah.
So we apply to the same IPO, and you in the same pool. I got it for $1 and you got it for 120. I think people would see immediately that's the kind of thing that happened.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
For no reason other than
we
for
don't
no
know the
reason.
right change.
Yeah. No reason other than it's not like I was in a different class or something. It's just that you never get this one. People will learn or they won't. Yeah, man. I have done my balling over the years.
I've been balling a lot less. Very peaceful.
I'll leave it alone. But that's a dangerous thing. But we were talking about this because you're saying so people in MFS, which is what SSLVC is now, they'd have been much better off. 398. Yeah,
I think
than
how
sitting.
long you sit down in Siboney, music list, fail, SLVC, takeover. If you were in music at that time, then they make a bag of money. And then this now
Feel
again,
yeah.
make a bag of money. Imagine, you sit down in Siboney for years and years and years, watch it just drop down and down and down.
Damn. And people exiting. I see a big order. 1 million units at 47 cents. And people exiting anyway. Best of luck to the people. For Siboney, I've gotten enough heat for absolutely nothing with Siboney, but I pick up the blame for it. So I again, that's also another thing. I just leave people to them own because I'm not taking.
Again, every time something is dangerous,
I'm not as nice as I
nothing.
was in
But
the
the
past.
moment it actually isn't dangerous, then you're going to be some idiot calling it out.
Yeah. So it go. Oh well. Conrad, you see how far you make us carry the point go? All right.
I appreciate the discussion.
No problem, and thank you for
we
bringing
do
up.
too. Yeah, man. I think it's just a good example of let's kind of shift off the topic, but we get a lot of gems out of it.
And anybody else listening, this is the same thing. You can jump on and talk to us about this or anything else that you want to talk. Yes, we are talking officially about the thing that we have not actually mentioned all evening. The touching back the buying access point. Buying access, of course, because of the access situation. I'm sure people have questions around that. I'm sure people have points around that. Conrad, I don't know if you've been paying attention to this.
Not in any great detail.
Okay, well, that's good. As somebody who has not been paying any attention to it in any great detail, what do you know about it?
About what, AFC, the dollar and AFC?
AFS, Access Financial Services, yeah.
Not much, really.
Okay, word. All right. Well, well, what's the not much? What do you actually know? Even the not much. What's the situation? Because it's good to hear. I want to hear from somebody who isn't deep in it, has been following it up heavily.
My understanding is that dollar put in a bid to purchase AFS, and that bid was leaked earlier this week. That's really all I know about it. I don't know how much you put in. I don't know if it's viable. I see the price react to it a bit, but that's it.
That's it. All right. Well, I don't know much either. I just wondered that I want to hear of somebody who maybe wasn't following it up in the public domain as much. I don't think that there was an actual bid that was submitted, but I know it was reported and has been spoken about that way. But I don't think the law or the JSC rules allow it to be actually seen that way.
What I find interesting is the original article that speaks of that tells you it's not a bid. I think they even said is a bid. So you're reading it as a bid.
No,
While within the article it tells you it's not a bid.
bid is the wrong word. More like
I know.
more like a
Let's stop. That's it. Yeah, let's stop. We work out the bid situation, but let's stop. That's what it is so far, as far as I know. I like to enter into talks, and enter into talk don't mean. I think people think when they enter in the room and talking, they're talking about how much like the board giving access to dollar, and that's not going to happen, as we know.
Yeah.
The board don't sell any shares. Access doesn't sell access. They sell loans.
right.
Yeah, but the reporting is interesting as always, and then I'm seeing a lot of people coming with very strong views based on what the headlines are saying. So then a headline comes out that basically say, "Oh, nothing not going on over there, nothing no gossip," and everybody takes that sick. Boy, I tell you, I lie them that tell nothing that gossip, and I even hear it's just like Elon Musk on Twitter. I'm like, well, I don't think you know what's going on there, and you definitely don't know what's going on here. Or according to what I see, but yeah, well, that's where the money is, right? Other people not seeing until. Am I muted? Or Randy drop out?
No, man, we're hearing you.
Randy? No, I see Randy's getting a voice, but we're not hearing him.
No man, you should
Are
hear.
you
You heard
hearing
me
him?
now? No man,
Yes.
I heard you. I could hear you. Sorry. Yeah, is that a great point? But thank you for that, Conrad. If you don't know much about the access situation, which not that either of us, myself or then I know much about it either. But I mean, thank you for that point, especially the earlier points around the market. So I hope I see you and everybody else in the market when the one-on-one refunds are due.
All right, definitely. All
Oh,
right,
but
guys.
one last question before you go. I noticed you didn't say one-on-one. Why didn't you say one-on-one as the thing that you'd buy when you get your refund?
Oh, the money that I plan to buy one-on-one stocks with, or I'm not really holding that. I don't want to. The refund timing is kind of sticky sometimes. So how I plan to purchase one-on-one when it reaches the market, I already have that allocated.
Okay. So you have everything planned out. All right, I respect that. All right, Conrad. So thank you very, very much. And guys, if you want to, you can send a speaking request, not just about access, not just about FESCO or anything you have on your mind. Any marketing you have on your mind, any question. I know somebody had sent a speaking request earlier and we had, I think they just got tired of waiting, but whatever your question is, whether big or small, beginner, expert, jump on and ask it and we'll talk about it. And we can all learn something together. If you sent the speaking request before, you can send it again. We will get to you. As long as you wait, we will get to you. Now, this access situation that as I heard you saying earlier, that the opinions have definitely been formed around it, and I had tweeted something earlier
Strong
this
opinions
week.
held strong. Yes, I know. I've been quoting you very often. Every time somebody comes with the right thing for me to give a response to, I say I quote that tweet.
Which is what?
And say about when you want thing, you're not a direct quote, but when you want to buy shares, do you call the directors? Do you call directors when you want to buy some shares on the market?
Yeah.
Like before, I was ring up the chairman and say, "Oh, boss, if I buy some shares, we can do it."
I think that's a reflection of of how much people know about what's happening in the market, and just how much people understand the market itself versus a headline. I didn't say this before, but I will say this. I will say this. I do believe that, like, my personal belief is that dollar is going to buy access. That's my
Me
personal
too.
belief. Yeah. Like, I do
I
believe
agree.
that. Yeah. And I do think that the team and the team around and behind dollar are playing a hell of a game. It's not as simple a chess game as you think, but yeah, I do believe that they will buy it. Now, the depth of how much I go into that is, that's another matter. It depends on who comes on and who asks and the conversation we have. But I do believe that access, that they're gonna buy access. And the headlines, I don't know. I take even less of my information from headlines these days. It's
It's like MD&A, you read it last.
yeah, yeah. Honestly,
It,
honestly.
the truth is, I read them first because that's what it's when they click. But I make sure disagree with that immediately. This now not to just get to read an article, and it's funny so much. I think the girl guys will probably see every now and then you share and annotate on out of one like a piece of an article, and that you highlight certain things, like you're going through like, oh, cool, doing some research, and this is the thing I'm looking at. And like if they were to actually check the article, I don't know if they'd have done it. Very often the article has the point of the article isn't the thing you're highlighting. But very often when you're reading the article, you're reading for what the headline was saying to you. But
Yes.
the interesting part I can lead, it just maybe something someone said, the one little quote, or just even sometimes a reporter saying something about what the person said, and they give some context around it based on whatever. That is very often the big deal in an article. Sometimes very often you read the article and tell you things you know already. So often.
I have not read
If it's
on.
public,
Yeah,
if it's public, that's when the news catch it. You and the news very often get it from the same place, and you write more than them.
yeah,
The things I get from articles aren't often the thing, aren't often what the articles are talking about. They aren't often the point of the article.
yeah. It's
People
things you pick
say,
up, by the way. Yeah, if you pay attention
people,
to them. No, go ahead. Sorry,
no,
go
no,
ahead,
no, no,
Ben.
okay. I'm gonna say it fast. I don't, don't lose that. But yeah,
No, I
a
won't
client
lose it.
say
I won't
the
lose it.
news
It's
it
fine.
said or the thing that the Gleaner say, and I'm like, how often you talk to reporters and tell them what stocks to buy?
Yeah, that's true. Or ask them about if they own stocks. So
That too.
the original, yeah, as you said, the original article that I think caught everybody's eye. The headline says dollar makes bid for competitor access financial services, even though, as you said, in the wording of the thing, it says that that's not what's happening. And if you understand how it works, you understand that I said it last week. I'll say it again. You cannot. They're both listed companies. They have certain rules that they have to follow, regulations they have to follow. They also have to follow the company, the Companies Act of the country, the laws of the country, right? Which means that if Access were to receive a takeover offer, a takeover bid, they legally would have to they have to put it out. They have to put out a notice. And if Dollar,
Canada.
another listed company, was making a bid to buy Access, they would also have to put it out, which is why the wording of the points that whenever there's a quotation from anybody in the first article, they're very careful with their wording. Given the preliminary nature of the discussions, they don't think it's necessary to disclose the expression of interest to the market. As it, I think it's very well wording. Could cause irregular
Uh,
trading in either of our shares, which I think might have been the point. Not irregular trading. I don't think that they wanted irregular trading,
I
but
I hate the word irregular trading. Can't remember so.
yeah, I think it's a legal term, and it's almost a
Uh-uh.
word for word quote from the regulations. So it's like a
Yes,
CYA. I
but
think it's them trying to make sure that it's clear that the thing that Rule X says, we are definitely not being in breach of Rule X.
mm-hmm. But thing there, but, hanging on a point. Yes, I was also laughing at that when your tweet about thing there. if you are going, you go to the directors to ask them if you want to buy shares. And the next thing to you ever make a bid and not give a price?
Also
I'll
true.
buy that for X dollars. How much X? Like that don't happen. Like there's no bid without I want it for this and not a bid. It's really that expression of interest. Yeah, I want to buy it. We'll see.
Yep. It's not like a bid is a big deal for a listed company.
Mm-hmm.
It is a big deal for a listed company. And so those of us who are sensible and sharp should understand, because as I said, I do believe that dollar is going to buy access or is serious about trying to buy access. And I don't think that this article or any of the subsequent articles are indicative of what the actual plan is.
My next favorite headline was "No value in dollar nonsense. Access rebuffs suggestion it is facing acquisition."
Which article was
I mean,
that?
I read the article. August 16th.
Also from Our Today?
Huh?
Yeah, also from Our Today?
Yeah, man. That's also funny too.
Yeah, shout out to Our Today.
You tell one bit, and you come to one like what? Hey.
Yeah.
A leak letter. So you pick it up. Nobody. According to how the leak work is that nobody never get right. It leak. So you take it up and you read it and then you come talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you tell me say a bit. And then no, boy, nonsense, you know. I don't dollar nonsense. It's who it says a bit. And then you read the article, and as we've said, access doesn't sell access. So the article is not there saying that.
So let's go down.
I saw conversations around that headline. It was shared, and it was yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fool. Yeah. McCarby, see? Lie. I said, I'm like, hey, who was the one lying? Boy, man. Yes, I think that will buy access. At the least, make their bid for access. So we'll see. But it's a one to watch, Randy.
One to watch. It's a funny thing. I was breaking down the pieces of the whole story to like give people just a part that they can follow when they're looking at something like this. And before I even do that, like this, you mentioned this earlier, Stuart Pinnell, who has worked for both Bank of America and Morgan Stanley.
Yo, name drop. So, Randy Rowe, who has worked for Carreras, said, "Wait, it's about cigarette now, Randy."
that cigarette game is over. There's no more cigarettes left in the country. I know. I used to work for Carreras.
No, you used to work for. I think you're talking about the thing there. Again, you're talking about the cigarette game in Trinidad. He's working Carreras in Jamaica. That's what that is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd understand the cigarette game in Trinidad if you work in Jamaica too, because that's where the factory is. But just like this line, I understand that this line would have a lot of impact on people who don't invest or people who are new to it. The retail, like if you're in the retail and
what do you mean? Wait. Not even the newbies. You know well what happens when Bank of America and Morgan Stanley drop. The experts here, when they say that he's an expert too, he know the game. He know the game better than them in their mind.
Yes.
Them that trade local, even the little bit that they do locally, is nothing compared to big boss, big American top Bank of America, Morgan Stanley. All of them they think that I for the front desk scheme work, them know, and them know that. Then decide say, yeah man, this guy know. This guy this guy expert. Him tell you how it go.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't be surprised if people are quoting and say, yo, this big thing, big American investment banker, say, yo, I would not be surprised if people saying that as a reason why this don't make no sense.
It's crazy to me. And again, I always want people, especially people just starting out, to be able to take some tips from this, right? So it's not just us laughing or having fun. It's that you should be able to take something from it that you can use. If you are a newbie, if you're new to investing, here is something that you can do. Here's a very powerful tool. highlight, right click, search Google.
Brother.
The first thing that comes up is the article quoted.
Oh, that. Ah.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
Oh.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's what Danai looked like when he just edit himself from saying
Ancestry.com
something.
come before
Yeah. No, I didn't want to. Anyway, so as far as I'm concerned, as a Jamaican investor on the local market, this means nothing to me.
Stuart, all right.
That don't mean anything to me. That's like it has as much weight as if Stuart Pinnell, who has worked for Bank of America and Morgan Stanley, was talking about the crime on Johns Road in Spanish Town. Like, I do not give a damn.
You know the worst
Stuart
part?
Pinnell.
You know, make it even funnier. Read what he said and figure out in what he said where anything has anything to do with the ability of one company to buy another.
As far as I can gather.
Brother. Not even expert opinion, you know, bro. As far as I can gather. You know, I'm over here in America sipping my coffee and, well, you know, really looks like no boss. As far as I know, you know,
No,
they are the leader. So
right,
there's no way these guys can buy them.
You know, it sounds like the Stuart Pinnell on the call and them call him and ask him and him say.
He might be in Florida.
So him say, which one of them is bigger? And them say, oh, Access is larger. Oh, and Dollar is new? Yeah. Well, based on that, as far as I can gather, Access is the leader in the microfinance field in Jamaica and has been operating for over 20 years. So you know what this sentence says this guy probably did? He did the thing that I just thought you knew best to do. Highlight, Google. Right click, Google. And so if you Google Access Financial, it will tell you that they are the leader in the microfinance field, or they're one of the leaders in the microfinance field. And they have been operating for over 20 years. Access was the first company to list on the junior market, which he also says. What? It was the first company to list on the junior market. James has built a tremendous business despite having to contend with other players aggressively taking positions and seeking to marginalize his efforts. When news of this dollar takeover broke, it raised eyebrows. One would be inclined to believe that Access would be making moves to acquire dollar, not the other way around. Well, you might be inclined that way, but reality says otherwise, right? Dollar has gone about this in an unconventional manner. It has definitely courted publicity. That he's not saying it's not happening.
He got the man not once. Even after me decides that, boy, I still want to read, can't tell me how this is going. He then never says how it will go. He never says it can't go. So you just, boy, if I were to look at it, I would expect the other way around. But gosh.
Okay. And then, of course, there's the usual data point spaghetti where you just throw things at the board. I just throw facts.
Bro, I think the articles might have a word limit. It can't go under XYZ.
I don't think so. You know what's funny to me?
No, man, I mean the fact that they put this in there, the things they throw in the articles more or less.
All the time. You know what's funny to me? You can get AI to write articles just like this. Because the rest of this is just numerical facts. The computer can say it, how much the earnings were versus previously. Mm-hmm. I can tell you what the growth was. It's again just quoting a number. And it's quoting even like a little piece of the MD&A. Mm-hmm. And then it is quoting a historical fact about the company when it was like an AI can write this entire thing.
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a template and I eat that every single time.
Yeah, AI write a lot of sports articles where all it's saying is just things that were reported as happening in the match.
The stats. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and if you talk about two people, talk about a coach and you give them history, talk about a player, you give them history. If you work for OWA today and you wrote this article and you're a human being, click the bicycle in the picture. Oh, God. Anyway, this second article to me looks like an article that is meant. It looks like an article that is written by somebody who understands that most people read just the headline. Nothing wrong with that. That's you. I do the same thing sometimes, so I'm not judging nobody. But it was written by Al Edwards, or is that AI Edwards? I think Al Edwards is a real person, but then the AI articles don't have a fake. They have fake names on them anyway. This
I mean,
looks like
I name my AI Edwards.
or Al Edwards, ambiguous. So or Stuart Pinnell. Sorry, guys. I forget that we're not
God.
fooling around. There are people paying attention to us. Okay, so still think that Access might get bought out. I think this is an interesting response to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
The share price did respond. Access's share price did respond sharply to it, so it immediately got closer to a healthier valuation than where it was. Big up the people who were in from before that. This is it. This is your chance. And you notice trading also, at least over the past few days, has been a little bit more robust. So again, big up the people who benefited from that, including John Jackson and QWI shareholders, such as myself. I don't know how much longer I'm holding that QWI final, brother. I don't want to turn this into another QWI conversation, but this man asked me to believe in him like Jesus started. Like just trust me, man. It's something is happening and the results not showing. Which results reminds me that earlier you had made a point that when we were talking about the comparison between like companies that IPO don't get a lot of the hype, stay flat. And then later on, when people realize they fly, and the beauty of that situation is that the people who realize when everybody else don't realize, the people who are ahead of the curve, you can then buy much more units for cheaper than you would be able to in an IPO, like an extremely large amount. And that the JFP point, but I'm calling back that JFP point because of what you said, that in the case of like Fesco, the same thing happened. In the case of like Lumber, the same thing happened. But it's not just the not realizing. It's that
not
the company.
It's stayed though. It's not that boy. The point of the buying isn't because the IPO wasn't really strong. That's just one factor, and there are other factors after that.
Exactly. And
a
major one that you pointed out is that the results. The companies do have to produce. Yeah, Lumber did it. Fesco did it.
Yeah, I think you said it better. I think you said the people have to get a reason for. So it not have to be results. Maybe a big acquisition coming to do it. So something have to get something that people react to. Somebody say, okay, this is the benefit for me if I'm buying at $2 now that it's been $1 for way too long in my opinion. I could have buy enough. This big thing, this new thing happened. Okay, either results, profits, whatever. Something gets people to get up and say, all right, there's value here more than what it is now. It's not just boy the IPO quote unquote flop. Something have to come after that. And why I said results for JFP was because a lot of the expectations around JFP are based on people deciding that people said, well, the results now come still. And then the other side is saying, just wait, just watch results. So people are buying now. I figure that they have expectations for good results to come out, and then that's where, I mean, when people get proved wrong, then that's usually how the market works. People start jumping and say, "Oh well, profit sales," right? So,
yeah,
if you can prove the people that get up on this side say, "Yeah, man, JFP flop, not go on for the results." If JFP can come strong, I think that would be the thing. So I think a lot of people aren't buying into it based on IPO. What the results the financials at IPO, the expectations of the future financials and whatever, if that can change, then something nice there. But I don't think it just, as you say, it's not going to speak, but the price is down since after IPO, it must come back up. That's just like every other thing. Boy, it must go up.
yeah. Yeah, you just said the results thing, and I thought of it, and I didn't want to forget it. I did want to say that the company does have to produce. Yeah, that's a key thing. So going back to this Access and Dollar thing, Dollar did not respond in quite the same way, did it? The share price was not quite as did not give the same kind of jump. In fact, did it jump a little? Was this the date? Yeah, the 11th. jump a little bit, drop back, and kind of slightly going up, but you don't get the same kind of response. And I think it's because a lot of people just don't believe it, they don't see it yet.
And also, access is easier, right? Access had no queues. Like the queue they made, it was like 800 and 1,000 to move access up
That's
by
true.
30% versus
That's true.
million to move that much.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, the access movement might not have been on a lot of trades. Like this here is 12 trades today. The day before it's another 12. No, sorry, that's the same thing. The day before 21, and the day before,
And we
13.
can have money that doing that.
Yeah, the level of money they're doing it is not a lot. Yeah, 203,000.
So me could have go with my 200 and do some damage over access versus my 200 in dollar.
600 grand on the 600 grand on the before. It's not large amount. I get you. Dollar itself, you get a larger. You get the opportunity
And
to buy.
recent IPO, other people went in. Other people say, boy, profit. You see, it go up and back down and back up again. So so everybody that collect when the big dip, it dip again. It peak and drop back. And I bought. I know people. I know some people that did. Yeah, man, we get a flip out of it from the low XYZ. So yeah, I think more people are just there. It's harder to move than think that.
It's harder to move than access and heavier selling pressure. I mean, look at some of these volumes. Look at
I
some of
think your
these
point's
volumes in
very
the
right,
queue.
though. I don't want to debate that people take that and say, I'm agree with you where you say people want us because to move it now, then I would think people want some more surety or whatever, or just understand what's going on for that.
Yeah.
For a real heavy move, a lot more money needs to come at it for that level of move.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think you're very right on that.
Yeah, for the retail to move, we have to understand what the retail is. The fact that the retail is filled with people who don't really know much, and them are trying them a list to somebody. They need more surety than that, and then I risk my money just so. Right, and then also you made a great point around dollar being a recent listing, so it's still fresh in people's minds. Like if I'm buying dollar up to 320,
It's access on the first.
right?
It's the furthest one away.
Yeah, I mean, but they're still thinking that it was just a dollar just where they. I mean,
Yeah, give me a good reason to buy this $1 stock.
Yeah.
For me, it's $1. And you tell me to buy again at $3. Give me a good reason.
Exactly.
Tell me say I got $6.
Yeah, and nobody can tell you that, right? So it's. I understand it not moving as much, but this is us sharing with a lot of people how it go. And then like as you say, take a whole heap of money. Again, just comparison. Looking at the queues right now. Again, big up My Money JA. If you want to be able to see this level of information, get a premium account on My Money JA. We keep adding features, and next up is the app. But
I'm not complaining. Money well spent.
yeah, thank you. Going into this, so if you look at, let's use a popular broker. We'll go with JMMB because they have a lot of the retail. A lot of people have JMMB accounts. $2 million would hit the breaker on Access Financial and give you 65,915 shares. $2 million on dollar would carry you down to the fourth order in the queue. You get 624,000 shares, but I mean, you barely move. You're nowhere near the breaker. To hit the breaker, you need $11.5 million on dollar. It's night and day the difference. Big money has to move it. But it comes down to it, none of this is important when it comes to whether or not dollar is going to buy access, which again, I still believe dollar is going to buy access. It comes down to simply, can dollar get enough of the pieces to bring them over the 51% or over the 50%? Which, I mean, the timing on this thing, it's not that bad in terms of when they may be able to get it. It's not that bad at all. Yeah, yeah.
So the last article. I was all you did today again, and the last today all you today. Crucify me. The last one I like the headline on that one. Where is it? Where is it?
Which one? The
Dollar
latest
going
one?
ahead with interest in acquiring Access Financial.
Yeah, dollar going ahead with that quiet. Yeah, again another headline article, but this time again,
They
well,
talk
I
to
think
somebody,
yeah, they talked to somebody and
Exclusive interview.
yeah, the dollar articles, the articles that I think are from the dollar side of things.
Mm-hmm.
They're worded very carefully, Um, they're not backing away from its interest in acquiring. Again, interest in acquiring is not the same thing as acquiring.
But
Very
made
careful
it patently
language.
clear that his company was pushing forward the intention to acquire a full 100% shareholding of Access Financial.
Yeah, the grow subscribe, especially people who've done advanced grow and the grow subscribers, you know what that means, right? That in itself is indicative of something. Pushing forward its intention to acquire a full 100% of the shareholding in Access Financial. That should tell you something. If you did begin a grow last month, July or June, you also, like I have spoken about this sentence, and this sentence wasn't written then, but I've spoken about sentences like this and explained them in those growers. So I know it clearly. So that in itself says something. This thing about has until today to respond to it. So here's a point, right? Big up a specific girl subscriber to who made this point, or well, research this thing with me. Um, there's a quote. Yeah, we do not want it to appear like a hostile takeover. It's unfortunate that our letter of interest. It's unfortunate that our letter of interest was leaked. In fact, Dollar wants to acquire Access so we can add value to shareholders, as Access has plateaued in performance, and there are many synergies where Dollar and Access can add value beneficial for both shareholders. I said something very similar, I think 3 or so weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I am very happy to hear the CEO of Dollar being quoted as saying something so similar. Acknowledge that no formal offer has been made to Dollar Financial. Again, none has been made, because if one was made, the offerer, if they're listed, would have to state it, and the party being offered would also have to state it.
Was it last week or week before when we first spoke of it? And you even went through a past situation where, what was it, CFF, where
CFF, correct.
clarification was put out, and I think you used that as an example of what you expect to happen. And here we have two releases from both companies with the same what Randy said.
Yo, this is a ratted watch.
Oh yes, it is. Yes, it is.
My God,
Yes,
that's an
it is.
AP?
AP skeleton.
Do it, yes, Mears.
Tweet.
Tweet and oh God, sorry. The watch knocked your last sentence out of my mind. That's a hell of a watch.
Oh, yeah. You know how long every single time I see that, I start. Yeah.
And that what? Yeah, that's a good watch. That's a good
Some man
watch.
to live, what nice watches
man.
and Porsches.
Damn life, I'll fish out the trash. Anyway, uh, when asked what next if a response is not forthcoming by the deadline, the Dollar CEO report responded that a further communication will be sent out in line with the rules of the JSE in relation to any necessary disclosure and due process. Timing on this gets very interesting. When was this said? This article is from the 17th. So I assume
they spoke on the 16th.
they spoke on the 16th. That's what it said?
Yes. So exclusive interview on August
Tuesday,
16th.
August 16th. That's important because Dollar put out a limit on the 16th. They also put out a notice. This is, if you know the rules, the JC rules, if you know the market rules, if you know the laws around takeovers in Jamaica, you can see that Dollar is following exactly the letter of the law, and it seems that they're speaking around it. So I'm saying that because of this sentence. When asked what next, he responded that a further communication would be sent out in line with the rules of the JSE in relation to any necessary disclosure and due process. No, this is
No,
a release which is following the JSC's rule. I love this sort of thing. I'm sorry, people. I love this sort of thing. Like, this is what the space needs. It
but
is not a confusing situation if you know the rules at all. This quote does not say that the release is going to be around the, well, it doesn't say that it's going to be it just says that there is a necessary disclosure. Now, if you know the JC rules, you know that what has now happened with the leak is that there's a situation where both parties, I don't know if I said that on air or if I said that privately, but both parties
yeah,
have to,
that was the CFS thing. They said that will happen.
yeah, they have to respond even just to the rumors, because it's actually a JC rule that the rumors, if they are considered to
Of
be
material
material,
nature, we put it
yeah,
out.
has to be responded to. Another example of that is Siboney, when which also had very
Yes.
careful wording. Yo, let me show you how careful. Let me show you the trick behind the Siboney wording, because
With
everybody
the
head
thing
bigger
there,
than mine.
the interest. I
Yeah,
want
no,
to
no,
dial
no.
back to
Go
the
ahead, go
time
ahead.
when they made it clear. I think it was the AGM. The
February 26,
board members,
2021.
when the board members said, "Hey guys, it's not the board members who are very affiliated with the majority shareholder were saying it's not a board member. People are asking at the AGM about the bid, and they say we'd have to ask the majority shareholder."
And the person speaking works for the majority shareholder, but wasn't speaking as that, right? The release the following statement. This was when in early 2021, when Siboney had spiked a bit. We are not in possession of any material information that would have contributed to the recent trading levels in the company's shares, and are also not aware of a reverse takeover of the company. And like here, Dan, I mentioned that they point out that they're not aware of any. They had said at the statement saying that they don't
Siboney
know.
not aware.
Siboney is not
Very
aware
smart,
of
isn't
any.
it?
Yeah.
Because Siboney not selling Siboney.
Fast forward a couple of months after that,
Yep.
and then suddenly they had a time. No, this wasn't the disclosure. This is the first disclosure. Then they suddenly had a
that was thing
disclosure.
there. The such man in a discussion, and a discussion just show such man was in there.
No, this that they're advertising it. I'm looking for the thing
The
where they
one where they
pointed
say,
out that
we have a thing there. We have a buyer. We're vetting buyers and we have a preferred buyer, something like that.
yes, speaking to a specific preferred buyer. So they move all the way from we don't know nothing about that, and we're not aware of it, and then suddenly we understand that the majority shareholder, the directors understand that the majority shareholder is in the process of pursuing the finalization of a decision in respect to the sale of its shares in Siboney, right? This is funny because if you understand the share, it's just likely one guy writing under two hats each time and not wanting to say something too early. So they have to be very careful in their language.
I mean, Siboney office and him think the office, and him again. And him walk from him right
The government office.
I must send it to him next email.
Yeah. The laptop over there, so yeah. What's funny here and how this relates to the point that we're making about dollar is dollar access is that this news release says the directors of Siboney understand that the majority shareholder is in the process of finalizing a decision for their shares. The board understand that the shareholder is selling their shares. If with that in mind, then it might make more sense it might make more sense to you why my tweet was have you ever I didn't say have you ever, I asked about the last stock, but privately when other people ask me, I asked, have you ever contacted the company's board to see if you could buy it? Because there is a distinct difference between the board of a company and the shareholders of a company. The board can't tell the shareholders what to do. Nobody tells me if I can or can't sell my shares.
A common thing there, a common common in the articles for private companies is, all right, cool. If you want to sell your shares, then the board have to approve it. In public companies, that's one of the things they have to change when they're listing. There's no board have to approve. The board approves.
Over a certain
the
level.
stance is that any trade go on, so it go. The board, what the board going to say. The board can't tell me not to sell or whatever.
Exactly, and you don't have the same preemptive rights, but the company does. But you,
imagine every
as a
T plus two
shareholder,
get a message and say, yeah, man, we're approving that by MD.
Exactly.
And then one day spend too much money and say, no go so.
Exactly. So the reason behind pointing this out again, the board of directors was saying that they understand that the majority shareholder is in the process of pursuing their finalization. No. Just so I can show more of why, because sometimes I don't know if it's clear to people why that's what. Mr. Errol Campbell will remain as the board chairman, right? And Mr. Errol Campbell, I believe, would be the board chairman, but I believe he'd also be the person representing the majority shareholder, which is the majority shareholder. So then this notice is probably written by the same guy. So the point here of this notice is that the board...
Imagine you send yourself the right email upon the wrong letterhead.
Yeah, man, you call yourself with the phone in your left hand and answer the phone in your right hand.
So we are in new... Where you know again? That's you informing somebody.
Yeah, we understand that they're in the process of finalizing sale. And this is old news. So don't fast forward to us talking about dollar and this whole situation, right? When they say that, they're sending something to the board and people are going to say, no, because the board said that, the board cannot stop it. This has nothing to do with the board. This whole thing rests right here. This is where it rests. It rests with these few shareholders. Spring Hill, Proven, whoever have this cap market account, this NCB insurance account, QWI, Gen 4, that's where it rests.
And the rest are you too.
And us as shareholders. And the truth is, once somebody can, well, anybody can do a takeover offer, but to get it, you have to be sure of or have actually bought more than 50% of the shares in the company. So this is where it matters. I know that, and I know that the people that have a lot of money also know that. And so when I see articles speaking about like that, the board has today. No, the board doesn't. The board. And
it's funny.
I think both parties know that the board don't have nothing. But wait, just to wrap that point, that I could see, and again, big up the word in here that Mayors uses, I could see the value being under this sentence. We do not want it to appear like a hostile takeover, because as far as I can tell, as I was picking up that person from the grower group, as far as I can tell, the difference between a hostile takeover and a non-hostile takeover is simply if the board agrees.
The board is in agreement.
Yeah, but it still get taken over. It's just you call it hostile.
Just what you call it.
Exactly. And then the funny thing is,
I find the word hostile to be so strong.
Yeah, but
and I think in case I mean, I get why, but in truth, if the company wants to sell on the board, we're the ones the board work for us. So if the board decides that doesn't make no sense, or we don't think it focus up, but every other shareholder decides it focus up, then you, Mr. Man, will get hired and do up in a horse in this race. Decide however you feel. It doesn't feel very hostile at that point. It just feels that you maybe just don't have work anymore with this company.
Yeah, and I mean, if the board said no to my takeover and then I took over,
but then what?
Resign before I reach.
Exactly.
Resign before I reach. But this, again, to your point about that word hostile being harsh, it's also not a set thing. In cases of like same CFF, was that a hostile takeover? Technically it was, no?
Yeah, it was. Yes, definitely.
Technically,
but yes, technically, I think yes, it was. Technically, yes, it was. The board did not agree, but end of the day, it's taking over. Install a more agreeable board.
But I don't know if did they change the board much?
Oh, that's interesting.
I don't know if they did. So I remember. So when DTL bought CFF,
Mm-hmm.
when DTL bought CFF, they the director's circular said do not buy,
Would not sell.
do not. Yeah. I was looking for that
Recommendation.
recommendation line. Yeah.
You are not of that opinion.
Yeah, the recommendation of the board unanimously.
Everybody said no, do not take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Right. So would that make it a hostile takeover? Because they
Yes,
got
it
it
would.
anyway, and they got it because the majority shareholder or the founder sold. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, this would be a hostile takeover, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it don't really feel hostile. It seemed very, very friendly, and the founder is the one who sold. Yeah, it makes me think about these articles and how deliberate they are. So we do not want it to appear like a hostile takeover. The only way it could not appear, from my understanding, like not to be a hostile takeover, is if the board was in agreement, which is why I would then speak to the board. Right? That
Which
to
is
me,
what?
yeah, that to me sounds
Exactly
more
right.
like of a situation like, yo, this is happening no matter what, you know. I'm doing this thing, so you want,
stop.
you want to sign on, or you want be signed on, yeah, which would make it not appear like a hostile takeover, right? But then I look back on the other article, the early article where the expert from America said that Dollar has gone about this in an unconventional manner. It has definitely courted publicity. Well, this is quite unconventional, right? Again, I don't know who leaked the letter, and I do not agree with Mayors in that it's unfortunate that the letter was leaked. I think it's very fortunate.
I think very fortunate.
Yeah,
Happy I
very
saw it.
exciting.
Thanks.
Yeah,
So
I,
thanks whoever leaked it.
yeah, and I love how they're going about this. Honestly, I love how they're going about it
Love
in
it, man.
terms of
That's how the market road, man. Nice.
exciting things, man. Very, very exciting things. And the funny thing is, Access, as the American expert has informed me, is the leader and is strong. So I am then
I'm even
wondering
more happy
about
about man. Take it. Yeah. Get bought
companies
out. I would love for
companies like ISP, who are they're not the leaders, right? Much lower market cap. I mean, just market cap wise, if we're looking at the market in terms of just market cap wise, Access would be 36th in the market. Access would be 36th in the market. Dollar would be right behind it. No, right ahead of it. Oh, sorry, I have it in reverse order. Damn. Yeah, so it would be Access Financial. Sorry, damn. It would be Access Financial.
right there. Number 9.
Yeah,
Right above it.
number 9, and then Dollar would be right above it. So at least by market cap, Dollar is now the bigger company. But of course, Access has bigger profits.
High
Last
asset
year
base.
they made 437 million in profit. Year to date, these 1 quarter they've reported so far 77.5 dollar. Last year made 129 million in profit, and year to date 2 quarters they have made 119 million in profit. Word for the
Imagine
first
how
quarter
beautiful that would be
59.
under how beautiful Access would be under that. Making that good enough money.
Yeah, and it's not this.
I think I didn't say it. I don't remember who I said it to, but it's something we've often seen and spoken about. how radicalized people get, especially in the face of, I don't have an opportunity here, but I'm going to fight for it very, very. Like, access shareholders are not losing off of this. In fact, I would say this is the thing that made it make some money for the first since the big sell-off, the APO-ish sell-off way back in 2019.
When Proven sold their shares,
Proven
yeah.
sold. So now you look at this, and I'm seeing people so adamant that it shouldn't happen or whatever, like it's a bad thing, and I'm like, you know, you don't like the play here that you can actually benefit from is the takeover happening. If it doesn't happen, then what happens? Access goes back to being access. What
Yeah,
do you get from that?
it is better for the market for it to happen.
Access still is access after that thing there, buys it. But then now you have a different. You have an exit point when somebody sells you, and somebody buys it from you or puts up the offer for it to sell to them. Two, where is the gain in it not happening? Like, what are you caping for here? Like, if it doesn't happen, where's the money you make off of that? Like, what's the horse you have in the race for it not? Like, I've not seen it. Maybe as I look at 2% small shareholder, I just wouldn't get it. Maybe that's it. But
Yeah,
then that's funny because I don't know I don't know the people that are. I don't know the people that are actually fighting against. I don't know. I don't see them on the top. I don't see them with the number one shareholding. So
yeah,
what to
yeah,
fight for?
yeah. If
This is the thing. Like, you can make money from either of these things because this thing is happening, and you're vexed. No way. Upset with profit. That's crazy.
Yeah, Khalil say on YouTube, no more JC listed access if they buy 100%. Yeah, well, Khalil, they're not buying 100%.
And
I am not under the
Randy,
impression that they are going to 100%. Then it is delisted. They're
that's how it go.
against the trading. You are 100% correct, Khalil.
But yeah, and then so it go.
Yeah.
I don't yes, access being listed is an opportunity I can buy into some point in the future, but it not being listed now because dollar buying it up, dollar is going to make a lot more money. I feel like I don't want to buy dollar on that. So if access is no longer listed because I can make money off of an acquisition for the company that buying them, Vex, it's not a private company buying them. And you just make X amount of money off dollar IPOing, and then now again you can get some. Oh, no way! Do it. I'm happy to do it. All the best. I hope we go through. Not me now watch. Me I pray.
If you are a small investor, any type of investor you should want this to happen. It's part of why we were confused last week that John Jackson.
Yeah, get this one. It say, John, no, sorry guys, the holding is too long, and whatever. And you get the opportunity. Like, it's your horse is in the race more than most people.
I can understand it, but I'm happy that he's managed to make some profit, and I hope he'll out till the end of the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm still confused as to why he would be against it.
Yeah, I really don't get it, to be honest. And I can't see being a negative for QWI.
They still out. They also still haven't put out their net asset value update.
You know, somebody said this week.
What's that?
Boy, ECL delay again. 2 weeks out, bro.
When you say ECL delay, you mean ECL or you mean ECL the stock?
Report out yet again. All right.
Okay, but I almost said, didn't I say that would happen? But I remember I don't think I said it. I expect it to happen.
Here.
Yeah, I expect it to happen. I expect it to be delayed at least. I'll tell you exactly when I expect it to be delayed until July. No, wow, it's really overdue. Sorry, no, not that one. I expect the EC. They also had an error in their first results.
Changing, they left it out.
Yeah.
Changing equity.
I expect the full year results for ECL, which includes
Need a
that
proofreader.
that which includes that very lucrative fourth quarter for them. I expect it to remain delayed until
October.
I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can push that far.
Too.
That is too. I think that's too far.
Oh, all right. So the last time it delayed, when let me check it.
The first quarter.
The last one was delayed or something like that. The last one was which one was delayed? Last one, and then
they have a lot of delays generally.
yeah, man.
They delayed it the last the
February's
Q2.
report came out in April.
Sorry. Well, that's on time. That's not delayed.
Yeah, man. April.
End of February.
February, March. You're right. The next one is on before it. Which one was delayed? There was one that was.
Their audited statements last year.
The audited last year
came out September 24th.
September. Yes, September. All time flying. Oh, that's. I hit me like a truck just now.
And their first quarter results also came out September 24th.
September 24th. Yeah.
Which would have been early. Mm-hmm. No, it wouldn't. If their quarter ends.
No. Quarter ended. Oh, yes, August.
No, it is early. It is early.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is due. The first quarter results are due October 14th or 15th. Mm-hmm.
And then, I think it's October too late, but September, yeah, might see this in September.
So I think the exact same thing might happen, right? They drop the Q1 with the full year so that you don't look at the I guess it looks better. Did it last year? I mean, this time the Q1 was
better.
Strong.
Q4 never did.
No, Q4 was pretty strong.
Q4 was bad, and the Q1 was good.
Q4 wasn't bad.
Last year?
Q4 last year was $706,000 in profit, and Q1 of this year, unless I need to be thinking about Q4 the year before.
I'm just opening the report and update my brain.
September 2021, which had the full year report for 2020-2021 and the first quarter report for 2022. The year 2021-2022.
Right. The Q4 was good.
Yeah, and the Q1 was also good.
Q1 was awesome.
Which is strange. But
yeah, that's. Well, that's even more interesting.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to remember what I was thinking at the time.
I think you may have.
In our case, we said it was delaying. We said it would drop near to the Q1, and I think we had.
Yeah, I have ideas, but definitely not ideas that I want to say publicly. But I can see it's interesting. I'm not surprised that it's delayed, and I wouldn't be surprised also if both of them also come out in September. Yeah, so Q2 comes out early and the full year comes out late, which it is pretty late already. Mm-hmm. If you have any questions on this or anything else, by the way, send a speaking request and we'll talk about it. And Lope has been waiting for a while. Say that again?
The tool. Always been tracking thing there. How much more losses left on the books to come off? Q1 do now? Q4 do now?
And Q1 will probably be there.
Wait there. What is it?
It's
Q3 here.
364,000 is what the last 9 months looking like in terms of profit. 364,000. They had a loss in the second quarter, which was pretty big.
Second quarter was a loss.
Yeah.
Q3, I think, was.
Yeah, so who knows? And I don't think the construction is quite done yet. So I think
dragging. This time last time construction was happening for them. Withdrawal.
And cash flow is a real concern for them. And I think as part of their being where they are, they have to like that renovation. I believe some of the money have to come from them also for the renovation that's happening within the space, and they also have franchise fees. I'm sure there's lots of cash needs, and yeah. Lopo, what's up? You've been waiting very, very patiently.
Lopo, everything good, boss?
All gone.
Not much.
Yeah, man, they are taking, they're not taking the talk. It was great to see so much to be discussed about access and dollars without having to analyze parables and worry about what others are saying. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I have the added points. Well, he had another point to me while I was waiting, the hostile takeover thing. I guess my thought process is from understanding what the director's space can have in a takeover bid. If they can only just say recommend or disapprove the buy price whenever a bid is made, then I don't really know if that's the hostile part. But if that's how it's defined, I can see it. But that doesn't really seem like a hostile process to me. I could see it be a hostile consideration if the reason why I can buy a company is the farmer biggest shareholder. I'm getting half of it from them ex-wife, so maybe it could have been like, yo, that's what.
I mean, Dollar has said nothing about that. Access has said nothing about that. So, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that doesn't come into the thing that was hostile takeover definition.
Yes. Yeah, the hostile takeover, according to Investopedia, is when the acquiring company attempts to take over the target company against the wishes of the target company's management, so the board. An acquiring company can achieve a hostile takeover by going directly to the target company's shareholders or fighting to replace its management, again, the board. And this happens more in more advanced markets where we don't seem to think that the sun rises and falls in money people's lives. It's just, you notice something here. The hostile takeover is done by going directly to the shareholders. The funny thing is, shareholders, exactly, right? And even if the board thinks a merger should be done and recommend, what do they have to do? Call an AGM or an EGM and go straight to the company shareholders nonetheless. There's no getting around the shareholder point. The shareholder is who actually own the company. The board reports to us.
This thing we import as it's importantify the board. That's not a real word. Nobody can call me on it.
Yeah. So hostile or not, I mean, I like with that in mind, now reread everything that you've read from the dollar side of the conversation. but play the Godfather music in the background when you're doing it. We do not want it to appear like a hostile takeover. So I'm gonna give you an offer you can't refuse.
Making an offer you can't refuse.
Make an offer you can't refuse. Bro.
Oh my God, I really want to do these jokes.
We're family.
Yeah.
Oh, the rings of fate.
Oh my God. It's I'm happy about this. What do you think about that ISP point? You think ISP could be next up?
To make a bid?
Which bid?
What?
To get an article. To get an out today article.
Boy, me no know if dollar money so long. Or what about it?
Dollar money not long enough to go access, but they seem to be confident in it.
Seems to be doing it.
Yeah. Dollar just got a bond for $1 billion. $1 billion is roughly half of ISP's market cap. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a conglomerate thing, then I mean, this would be the perfect opportunity to look into. I mean, that's what I say. Where is the source of funds coming from? I mean, as a shareholder in different companies, I guess it's not really my job to figure that out. But if the shoots are saying that they can gather the resourcing, then boy. I've never actually looked at ISP to even understand it, to be fair, outside of I know the
Me
big
and Randy
loans.
have had private conversations around ISP, and some of the things we've said and have made the whole access situation made me think of ISP immediately.
Really.
The largest shareholder in ISP has 43.7% of the company.
Wow, that's very close.
That sounds a
Look on
lot.
ISP is trading and look on access is trading. That's
Even
way
wo-
them thing there.
It's even lower, no?
Yeah, but would that be way worse? I know ISP barely move. Like you look at the chart, it's like a sine graph.
Up down, up down.
Yeah, like you get a big move, one trade when this big move happened on this date, February. Then
Zero,
no
zero, zero, zero,
zero
zero,
zero
one.
zero zero all the way down.
Binary.
Then yeah, this hardly moves.
Yeah.
So
I mean, year to date, I think the most volume ever moving a day for ISP look like it says 290K units.
yeah,
So most trades happen in a day. What, 5?
Trades was for that day.
probably
Most
one.
trades happen in a day for them. I wouldn't be surprised
I
if it's
mean,
5.
the day I'm talking about was like one trade. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, 3 trades, 2 trades. Every little volume spike is like 2 things something. So I never even think about who is buying these things. Like
over the last year, over the last 12 months, the largest trading day for ISP had 6 trades. 6 trades. March 9th, 2022, there were 6 trades, and July 22nd, 2022, there were also 6 trades. That's the largest trade, the 2 largest trading days in the last 12 months for ISP.
that's crazy.
That is crazy. So, I mean, these buyouts aren't, I mean, they're not commonly done. I don't expect them to be done. I don't expect them to be done on
We
the
just keep
market,
running.
right? No, yeah, I expect them to be done off market. You know, it's handshake agreements with some of the larger shareholders because you're not gonna fight them for it. You can't force. You can't force.
What did you
Really,
do? Yeah. The first time. That's it.
it's the first time you're
Yo,
actually looking at it.
Yeah, man.
I think it's the first time a lot
realized.
of people might be looking at it. So if they're paying attention, we might as well look at it with them, right? Gen Corp listed 3 times. Managers and managers, they don't. Rosemary Thwaites resigned from the board of directors. You say is a connected party, as is Sun Fisher. Gen Corp has 55,175,000 shares, and overall there are 105 million. Their word 48%. And the share price is
$1 is the trade.
the only offer to buy.
I mean,
The
why
close
not?
price is yeah, you might get
At this
lucky.
point, this stock now go trade unless you call somebody like, yo, all
Yeah.
them shares there I go.
Wow. Wow.
It'd be very interesting if MMJ had a feature to see the queue with the dates that you move, like the queue and the day. That would have been very interesting for the stock to see when people put their orders in to sit down.
I'm fair something. Something. I don't know if it's in the plans, but I we've had a conversation. 2018, 2017. Remember that convo? God, who was it? I'll talk off here about that. I care about, but I know what I'm talking about. Though I don't know if I wanted to be saying online, but that was a conversation way back in the day about seeing when things are end of the queue and all that, and
Yes.
just tracking the queue's movement.
I know where my money, J.A.
And the roundabout way we were planning to do it, then my money can do that much easier. So, write the message, put it in the text chat, and send it to me, and I'll put the same message. Let's pressure them.
All things are possible in time. We take the market serious. That's what I'll say. But I'm looking at this ISP now, and I've never looked at it like this before.
Rosemary is director of Olympia Garden, Jamaica.
Olympia
Yes, I
Garden.
see.
She tendered her resignation July 25th.
So what kind of that can go around that? Yeah. The JC that and Ronald to it. Yeah, only place me I find her on the quick search.
Yeah, no, she was there. That's not why it's. Here's what I'm saying. The microfinance space. Somebody in the group said it. Microfinance is the new banking, and I had to laugh because I've been thinking that for a while, right? And if you think about banking, if you think about banking network, what does banking require these days? A network, customers, and access to credit.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. On a very broad scale. That's it. Access to customers. Of course, you have to be able to show people their customer information. A financial network. Or you don't want to be a single branch bank, but you can be a single branch bank if your bank is in the phone, because I don't like going to the bank. I haven't been to the bank in years, and I'm not trying to go to the bank. Let the bearer go to the bank, or let the bank come to me in the phone.
Are you speaking just commercial bank, or are you speaking merchant?
I don't care what you
bank?
call. I don't care what you call the bank.
Banking.
I just call bank. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
but
how.
as I said, I can't walk in a cornerstone bank right now. Where that there?
But I don't care where it is. I don't want to ever walk into a bank. Right? I like
Fair.
that's torture for me. Like if I go to hell and hell is the bank line, I'd be like, oh, well, that makes sense. Right? Like take your number. Your number never gets there. Like that would make perfect sense to me. But as long as you have access to money, customers, and a financial network, so me as a customer of your bank, I should be able to live my life and pay whatever I'm paying for with the tools that you give me access to, and with my money that is under your tools. Outside of that, you don't really need much else. You just need a network, customers, and access to credit, capital, access to capital, money. I think microfinance is the new banking, because it also undercuts how expensive banking has been previously. Banking now, the most expensive part of banking now is in Jamaica, as far as I see from my amateur point of view, I don't know much, is the people, and then the cost of the risk, the insurance. Now, if you can't get around the cost of the risk, the regulations, regulatory costs, and all of that, then it's a fixed cost. The next point then is the people. And a digital bank, a digital financial network has no need for the same level of people. And if it has those people, and those people are already paid by another process, then you can have a bank that does not look like a bank. I did not look at ISP before. Wow. Or today might write an ISP article. Who knows?
AI driven.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And what do the financials look like? They're not very profitable. They're profit falling. Yeah,
Good revenue Q1.
93. All
I
right, look
mean,
at this. ISP year to
No,
date.
ISP makes good money. No?
What you call good money? Last year, 2021, they made 54 million in profit. Dollar in Q1 made 59 million in profit. Ja.
And you kind of
yeah.
thing there.
Revenue for dollar
And Mark,
one. Go ahead.
wait. The ISP what? ISP made 54 million when?
For all of last year,
Last year.
2021, and dollar made it in Q1,
Q1.
and then made it again in Q2. Year to date, both quarters, dollars. ISP's profit has been 24.4 million, and that includes Q1 and Q2. If I was ISP, I'd be looking at Access very scared. Well, I would be looking at it scared. I'd probably be like, "Yo, write us a letter." Oh, we know, yeah,
Where's our buyout?
yeah, we know where it's up to. Yeah, write us a letter.
Say you don't
Yeah,
want to.
yeah. Oh, John Jackson don't like it. Guess what? Cause
We don't
again,
like
We like it.
yeah, ISP might want a buyout, man. If I was ISP, I would want a buyout because you still would hold significant sway. You would
And I
get
mean,
paid.
this whole thing with Access being the first announced accredited microfinance. You know what I mean?
That's just somebody had to be the first. That don't mean nothing. Like
I
it's
mean,
little.
that's
That's
fair.
like
Biggest
But
player being the first is no surprise.
think about it. Yeah, think about it this way. Think about it this way. The first person to get their driver's license in Jamaica. All right, that just means you're at the front of the line. Like the person behind you is gonna get second, right? Like BOJ is going to be licensing these people. It's not a big deal to be first, but it sounds great in every article. So the AI, Al says it at the end of all of the earlier this month. Access Financial Services application to operate as a microcredit institution was approved by the BOJ. Okay. The it is so
so
stringent.
you not think hold on, you not think say the cause and the need for this level of this new level of regulation is pressure on some of these existing companies that are listed. It's not just the little one man them. You don't think so?
I
What do
I
you mean
think
pressure? Because
I think it
yes,
is
it's gonna
pressure
cost more
on.
money and
Yeah.
go fix up different things. What do you mean pressure? Give me the real. Wait.
I mean
What kind
pressure.
of pressure you
I
thinking?
mean like if I'm a listed company, I have listed obligations and I have declining profits and I have declining streams and I have bigger competition, then may I go back to and let's say I didn't have any issues that wasn't announced, maybe like some some warnings about some operational things, then as in the buyout opportunity been pretty spoken about in general, and I think maybe the narrative that we've had is just the small man them where give a man 10 grand round one shop with them with the super unregulated space. But when you're actually regulated and you actually pay tax and you're actually above board, you have some real fees for pay. Like it's different from the man where I move money around. So I think if
Yeah.
me I see ISP and I decline profit all the while, then
But ISP
yeah,
just buy
exiting
out.
now could be a good thing.
But ISP just looking just make a move to buy out somebody that exited.
Buy
Oh
out
yeah?
somebody. You mean
Well,
somebody that's exiting the
Then they
space?
buy out somebody's book. Whose book they buy out recently?
Dennis
loan
Smith.
purchase agreement,
Yep, they're buying somebody's loan book. Who was that?
select purchase, select existing loans. But not see who in other notice though.
They didn't name the entity,
Mm.
but they bought a book. But I mean, you buy a book, that's cool. You should buy a book. I respect them doing this. Sorry, I respect them doing this. Um, but the space is a space. I mean, is
Mm-hmm.
grow or go, and
I mean, they bought the book in 2021, so we should see some
the
reflection
second quarter this year, then
in
profit drop. So
mm,
I guess
and
just
first
buying the
quarter. Because by September, let's say it should at least hit by January. But, well, depends. Maybe not, but maybe not. Maybe some
No,
no
don't
man.
some
disagree, man. I mean, they pick and choosing. So that they have some leeway there. It doesn't mean they're buying the whole book. It's a pick and choose situation. They
yeah, but me
present
can
it
pick and
as
choose. May I pick the best things?
exactly. How much, and then they're going to pick what works. What look, I think the first pick is what looks closest to what we already do. So anything that looks better than what our current loan situation. Basically, we have our tolerance. This is my level of loan that I'm going to take, and I'm going to pick that out of that and take it, pick that. I don't know how far below what they usually do they'll be willing to take. But
Uh,
it's still a pick and choose situation. So how much of them take on? Not sure.
The last audited of December, so it would be
No
nice to
man.
get some notes to see
No man.
something where they
Something
could have.
must if them start by something must from now.
Well, good.
I think there's opportunities within the space, but I think there's whole heap of opportunities in the space. I think that I think that microfinance is the new banking. You just need the outlets, the
And in some
customers,
cases,
and the
microfinance look at them
network.
even doing banking.
I mean,
Big up,
finance is finance,
big
Well,
up.
right?
I know, but big up my gambling company.
well,
Let's say agent
actually,
banking.
Which is the
well,
future.
I
I
did
believe
have
that.
thing there. No,
Go ahead,
just as a
local.
quickly, I did reach out. I did reach out to Access with them promotion for them loan them, and everything where them need is what a bank needs. So
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
that's the difference.
yeah. It is. It is. Across the board, it is very, very clear. Uh, I got I've been in my mind saying if I should say this one or not, but you know what? It's always the last. Oh, I don't know how long we've been going, but I don't know how much longer we need to go. So if anybody wants to jump on and talk, the last hour is always fun. Lope, if you want, just stay on and talk. If nobody else don't want to come on, that's cool too. We cut when we cut, or we don't, or we don't. I'll leave. I'll show one thing. ISP. I didn't want to say it, but look at ISP's top 10. No. In fact, let me do it this way. ISP, the beauty of My Money JA and its wonderful feature is that it also allows you to look at any correlations, right? So, like the ones where Gen Corp Limited is, like they're only under ISP. Resworth Bertrandson, or this joint holder, I guess they're only there on that joint account. Bridgestone Management Services, I believe that's John Jackson, also under Palace. And elsewhere. Virgin, I think that's John Jackson linked. Gen Corp, and of course Sunfisher is interesting because Sunfisher is also under SVL.
Mm-hmm.
So just so we're clear on that, that makes any sense to you, Lopo?
Yes, sir.
The
You said the
40,
magic words.
the 43% owner of ISP
Uh,
is the ninth largest shareholder of SVL.
Mm-hmm.
SVL
yes,
does
sir.
microfinance too.
Yep. So big up my gambling company.
Yeah, man.
I don't gamble, but I'm all about a bigger life than that. You know, it's all about it's people come to grow. Everymickle.com/grow. If you
Yes,
want to learn
please
how to
do.
connect these dots, you want to learn how to invest sensibly. If you think you're gonna know this financing, I'm a loss, come to this. You won't be lost afterwards. You get to ask all the questions you want. You also get a great discount to Danai. If you want to go to Danai directly,
Deep.
you can go at dhalladvisory.com. You get a discount also for MyMoneyJA, and MyMoneyJA.com is the next is just come to grow. You can learn a lot. You can learn skills that you can keep for the rest of your life, and you'll learn how to make significant and serious money. And you don't have to have a whole heap of money to do it either. And you don't have to be on the market every day to do it either. You just have to have sense, can read, and can go shop and come back with the right change. That if you can do that, you can learn how to invest sensibly. Yeah. With all that said, that's really all I have to say. You guys can talk whatever else you want. It is I'm holding back a whole heap of dots in my mind. I think those dots are enough as it is. Lopo, do you
They're
think
free to
that?
show now.
Yeah. Do you think that Access will get bought by Dollar, or Dollar will make a proper actual attempt to buy it?
I mean, looking at who owns Dollar, yes,
Who owns
I
Dollar?
think if there's a,
I was going to ask.
the lead.
Jaja them chop him line. Or did they not? Or did they chop my line? Then are you hearing me still? Hi guys on YouTube. I think nobody in the space can hear me, so you guys can't hear the space. Give me one moment and we should be back up.
It's who's heading the private equity side of First Rock. Well, all of First Rock actually. There's a relationship, there's history there, and yeah, I feel like they can come up with the money. And even before, I don't think there's a lot of room. Hold on, you still hear me?
You're hearing.
Yeah. I don't think there's a lot of room for. I think there's opportunity for them to buy it. That is not just comfortable in the space of, hey, it leaked, it's unfortunate, but we're going forward. It's not like, oh my God, I guess we'll have to retract the offer. No, they're going forward. So I think that's very serendipitous, and yes, I think they will do it.
You really think it leaked? You think it leaked?
Look, so like him favorite talk just now.
Who, me?
Talk around something. Yeah, man, like him
Yeah.
no answer something specific.
Sorry.
I hold that little pieces too.
Sorry, yeah, I dropped off the stream a while ago, so I don't think you guys are hearing me.
No,
yeah,
that's about.
No,
yeah,
I
I,
know, yeah.
yeah, I asked that question, Lopo. You really think it leaked?
If I really think it leaked,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a lawyer.
What's it a leak?
Yeah. Since when we're not used to this leak thing. We only hear about leak in US politics on
Foreign,
TV
yeah,
I'm
man.
private.
and election time when Upcut a tweet. And
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
mean,
that the stuff
listen.
Upcut tweets as leaks are actually. I mean, I think it leak, but I think we're all clear on how those leaks happen in the political
I think
space.
Access's initial response, and JC was very telling that they get the letter, and minutes later,
Careful. It's funny. All right, so yes, but that could also be, I know they're saying, if I don't want to be the one to make it look like it's
I mean, whoever leaked it don't want it to seem like they leaked it.
how much minutes later?
How many minutes in a day?
instead of
Minutes later means after I received it, I saw there was a newspaper article. Was that what was said?
No, well, they said a few minutes after the board received this letter, we were
What
surprised.
is a few minutes? What is a few minutes?
A few. I think legally, it can be thought that a few. I wouldn't want to have to argue in court that a few is 800 minutes, unless they're playing this in court right now and I'm sitting there, in which case, you got to hear both sides. But if we're not in court right now, I do think that what they said is actually what happened. That them get it and then them get it same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, them get it and then them Them get the letter and then discussing it, and then somebody
What I
forward something on
think,
WhatsApp
yes,
and say, "What is?"
I think so as well. But there's room in mind for things happening otherwise. Or it's worded in a way where I can take it, where it can be a thing there. The lie I want to believe kind of deal.
Why is it the lie you want to believe?
No, I say it can be. I'm saying I agree. But then if the way it's worded, it could not be that. What I believe it to be could also not be the case based on that wording. There's room for other interpretations of that wording, I believe.
And I believe that the wording in all of the releases so far have been meant to leave a lot of room. Yeah, my favorite one is still we will have to put out a release as per the JSC rules, right?
But it's also anyway again. I also find that funny because if you look at it really, it's a JC rule around responding to the days given for an expression of interest response.
No, that have nothing to do. No.
Exactly. So if me putting out a release thing there could just mean could release, because the question he asked was around them responding on time within the 5 days that was given to them, or the 5 days that was given as an expectation to hear from them back. And him said, "Well, we'll go according to JC rules." When there's no JC rule on that, so I don't have any obligations to hear from me.
This entire thing to me looks different if you know the JC rules and if you also know that most people don't know the JC rules. Then you can say a lot of things that sound like what people might want to hear. But I love it. I won't lie, I love it. I love what's happening in the space. And I think the space might be due for some consolidation.
But you don't think that could be I don't know, throwing it out there. That couldn't be a hit. So the next time we talk is a bid coming up.
I expect.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I expect that dollar will buy access or will make a serious attempt. I expect dollar to buy access 100%. I'm just telling you straight. That's what I expect. Don't think that me saying any of this means that I don't think that it's real. I actually know the JC rules. This article and all the articles are funny to me. Lopo, you know this because I predicted this article coming out.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's like a good game. It's a really, really good game. And I see another game now. I expect a couple more things happening in the space though. Boy, look like we'll look again this year, don't I?
It looks tough. But I won't buy a ball.
Yeah, I wouldn't cry. That's why I still find it strange that John Jackson was crying about, or seemed to be crying about, like, why would you not want this?
If I could go into one small digression and do.
No, go ahead. It's the end part. So anybody who wants to talk about anything can send a speaker request. We'll talk about whatever you want.
No, it's still about this, but there's a tweet shared by a head of a very powerful house was suggesting some letters would do something with the shares. I don't know why it's written in that way, but I'm also not a lawyer, so I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, no. I'll tell you this. Cockroach no business in a foul fight. Yeah.
Straight
But I just thought that whole reasoning that he gave why a certain M person would sell, I was like, this could be I don't know, man. I don't know how sell at what price.
Finance carry feelings. That's what I'll say. And
straight up.
And I think at the core of it, to control a company, you don't even really need 50%. You just need whatever the control will be in the entity, right? Like I create. But in this case, I think I think that I believe that dollar will buy access. That's my true belief. That's what I believe. The rest of the stuff I'm not
Same stuff.
touching. And the rest of the stuff I'm not touching. I know my level. I, yeah, some fights are
Fair
beyond me.
enough.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you this though. I'm really happy that this whole thing is happening. It's excited as it is
Bro,
excited as hell, brother. Oh God.
Me same with me did it right with your boss.
Yeah.
Me don't know if me there that I personally haven't been in the market where I feel like them kind of moves are go on in this way. Like, yeah, company get buyout in a my little time and me I pay attention, but it seem like a different.
I
It seem like a elevation of the beast. That's all right. Like,
this is the market being really a market
yeah. In fact, I would say
versus
that.
what
No, go ahead, Dana. Go ahead.
versus what the experts would want it to be. But yeah, what
Yeah.
I say.
I'd say for me, I think this is the most exciting buyout thing I've seen on the market since Salada. Yeah, since the Salada
Episode.
buyout. Yeah, that was exciting too. But as new in the market and I never had any real money. But looking back at it, yeah, man, it's exciting same way, man. Like I don't know if they went bear hug. They went bear hug. If you watch Succession.
succession.
Yeah, the bear hug. They went to the bear hug for Succession. It didn't work. So if people want to know how Salada and that takeover went, let me give you a quick synopsis. This is like oh 07, oh 08, if I remember correctly. I think about 07. And there was, I think, remembering correctly, somebody controlled a lot of shares already, and they were buying more to consolidate their stake. And in stepped Mayberry and offered a much larger price, right? So like I think the share price going off history. Yeah, there we go. It's that old RJR article. Three Bears, which was I think a company just created for the purpose of this. They own 60% and they were buying more, so the requirement for the offer happened. They offering $25.82 per share. Mayberry comes and offers $32.50. Same company takeover offer, $32.50, and then went on to increase that all the way to $40 per
40.
share. That was, I mean, imagine that happening now. Imagine, I'll keep it to access. Imagine
Spring
Sun,
Hill.
what the
Spring
name?
Hill.
Spring Hill. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
Sunfisher.
No,
Spring Hill.
Spring Hill. Imagine Spring Hill offering $32. What a auspicious number. $32 per share for access, and Mayberry jumps in and offers 35. I mean, you as a shareholder, who do you sell to?
Am I cute about it?
Yeah, John Jackson might. Yeah. I really want to talk to John Jackson again because I want him to explain his thinking now. Because I think maybe he's seen
too.
something that I just not seen.
See,
I'm
see
gonna
different, yeah.
I'm gonna try and link him and see if he can come and explain it. Because he might be seeing something I'm not seen. But yeah, imagine that sort of situation happening. And then, so one offering 32, one offering 35, and one offering 35 increase them offer price to 40 in the middle of the takeover. Like, even if you were thinking of going 32, it's now $40 per share. That's more. That kind of thing is the last exciting thing I can think of happening in the market. In the end, Three Bears didn't get it. Don Lewis ended up going on to buy the majority, the heavier stake that he has now, and the history is a history. But that is a sort of exciting place where we're coming from with the market sometimes. And notice who was the exciting party in that case. Mayberry Investments. Yeah, the usual guys. So it's still the same. Yeah, it's still the same people. No.
But
Still the
imagine
same.
I tell you, imagine the lateness of the market without them.
But big up Dollar, man.
Yeah.
Big up the team. Definitely hoping for more dynamic moves on the market, man. You see me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not that many dynamic moves out there to be made, it's just that, like, how many small loans companies are there?
That's listed. That's a lot.
5 if you count SVL.
Yeah.
As if Dollar grab access, that just leaves Lasco Financial and ISP. Word. Anyway, exciting times on the market.
Indeed.
Exciting times, yeah.
Indeed.
All right, I don't see anybody else send a speaker request, so then you have nothing you want to talk about.
I had something. I can't remember it. Honestly, wow. I think
Happens to
something
me all
else
the
happened
time
this week,
too.
don't it? Yes, definitely. But something else that was thinking. I don't think it was a level of excitement there. So I think that it kind of drew into a point, but I didn't look at it nicely and think that. I think we want
One-on-one
to talk about. I just know there's something here.
Berger.
And the thing that's coming to mind immediately is something I don't want to talk about. But
Okay. I create. Drop their
no,
results. No.
that's not it.
Is results
It's about Berger.
this? Was
It's
it
results,
Berger?
but it's not something. It's not results. It's not results that I care about. Not the numbers I care about or anything. You know what it is,
Yeah. Well, Berger numbers, to their credit, was also pretty good.
Really? I say back on track
I wouldn't say that.
for buyout, back to buyout days. Remember that?
Yeah, that was also a good one where they offered some crazy numbers.
Tokyo wasn't hostile, but it was very welcome. The
Yeah,
shareholders were not taking it that hard.
at all. They weren't taking it serious at all.
And
The
you remember
Bergers,
that they walk, but then talk to.
I to this day, but the new market. Remember that, guys. If you're just new to the market and you want to learn more, just go check the history. Some interesting things are
Money
there,
have
and
it out, trust me.
yeah, man, and you will get you'll be up to speed quicker than you think, and you'll be more up to speed than you even realize. Yeah.
Remember, share about $10, you know? The offer was 15. That's crazy. Imagine the offer worked out. Well, no, the offer was 10 or 15.
Let's check.
It was, I think offer was 10.99 in my head, right? That's what I'm thinking. But let me go check it. Well, that's funny. If 15, then boy, I better this then chuck it down to 10. But if it's 10, that's even funnier to me because after all of that, only the reader get a fair price, I guess, if you own a company.
Right? Can you imagine how good they may have felt for not having to spend it on them still have it anyway? If them buy on the market, them smart.
And then he drop somewhere and get revived and get that same offer 4 years later. Imagine.
Yeah, indirect offer to purchase. It's also a very interesting thing about how the market changed around, because I remember the Berger takeover. They had an indirect offer because the parent company that owned it sold that parent company to another company. So technically, the beneficial owner changed. But the actual owning company didn't really change. And then, the takeover, they did the takeover offer. It was at that price and blah, 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 right? History is history. But this is important because before that, Cable and Wireless had that same thing happen. And they didn't do a takeover offer. It was just...
Randy. Low background cutting.
Oh, sorry, bro. Sorry.
him and the
Come
yen
on,
them
that's all.
outside. Yeah, so I was saying a little after that, a little before that, Cable and Wireless had the same situation happen where the holding company that owned the shares was sold to another thing. Like, the beneficial owner did change, and no offer was made. The market has gone through a lot. This feels like ancient history. The Berger thing was 2017. It's not that long ago.
1088 and it's 1029 today.
All right, 1088 was a takeover offer.
Yeah.
I said, better you sell to them than hold it to today.
And I mean, Berger, you talk about stocks where they just they on a plane. Well, obviously this is in comparison, but if you look on Berger from 08 to 2016, I mean, I really look like 2015 it start pick up from share price wise. It go from $3 to like $3 was the heights, and then 2015 it said, oh, we could start bounce up. Must be
Yeah.
around this
And then
timeline.
Well, 2015 on the market, a lot of things started to bounce because of
bounce.
what happened with Red Stripe, and then that money
Yeah.
had to go somewhere. So a lot of that money went into other things. So naturally, it buoyed the market up. Yeah, that's another great thing when buyouts happen. And when buyouts happen from external parties too, like a company coming from outside of the country, that's a beautiful thing. I wish that would happen again. Because I think we're still riding that to this day. In some ways, some people, but
In
we're at the
some ways,
rise of the retail. Yeah, in some ways we are. But I think, Lopo, to your point, the Berger rise in 2015, I think part of the contribution to that was, I mean, if you make a crap load of money off and the companies that owned Red Stripe at that time, the Asia at that time were, the funds owned it, the pensions, the a lot of the institutionals owned it. So, an institutional coming out of that kind of company would probably put institutional money in a Berger, and it was a much smaller market then too.
Yeah.
So,
Never numbers were the number of companies less, number
yeah.
of people. Yeah.
And you had more people then, and more. When I say more, you had more people, more industry side people who would just avoid the junior market. Like they were openly saying that them don't buy junior market stocks. So them limiting them options even more. And the junior market was much smaller in 2015. So imagine if you're not buying junior market stocks and you just get a bunch of money from a big play, but you want to put in stocks, then you have a much smaller pool to pick from in terms of stocks.
And based off of like brand recognition and thing, Berger blue chippy.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
man.
Everybody know it. Household name.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, in back in the real world, it's a $10 stock.
Yeah.
And unless something more happens. Yeah.
I mean the shareholding low still, them know how to some things.
And the Trinis own this. I don't know if them care
Oh,
like that.
them do them vibes there.
Yeah, I don't know if they care like that. I mean, look at the last Trini stuff to touch our market. GHL split the hard way. The the what else?
Massy.
Massey
Split, but still rough.
Massey split
I
like.
fear, and I fear the next one will be boring too.
No, I'll leave it at Massey. Sorry, I'll leave it at Massey. JHL split the hard way. Massey split the smart way. Massey split like if an executive asks me, listen, we don't want. We see what's happening with your stockholder. We don't want any attention. We don't want the noise. We want to be listed there, but we don't really want a lot of headache with our share price. So we don't want it to drop heavily, but we also don't want it to be flying and cause any noise and questions in our Trinidadian market or us to look on the Jamaican market differently. So what can you work out for me? If I was given that sort of situation by an executive, exactly what happened with Massey is exactly what I would do. Split it to $100 and you're going to stay at that around that level for a long time. Yeah. Anyway, Sir Phil, jump in at the end when we want cut. What's up, Sir Phil?
What up, guys?
How going, Phil?
Boy, I
All
miss.
the money this week.
Can't complain now. Can't complain.
Well, that's all I profit.
It's been a good week. Looking forward to nice things next week. It's been a very exciting week, as you guys have nicely chronicled. I missed some of it. I missed a lot of it actually. So I'm not sure if you spoke about just now. Randy listed what's going to be the remaining? Anyway, Randy listed some microfinance companies on the market. He didn't mention one that is certainly a microfinancing by name
MFS.
at the moment.
That is true, and you'll notice it's not.
That list that you have.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, is microfinance is MFS a microfinance company?
MFS Capital Partners, which is the current listed company, is not a microfinance company.
That is true. That is true. In fact, the description I have on My Money JA is that we speak about the parent company,
That's
being
right.
that the parent company is a microfinance. There are Cambio, there are also the money transfer, all kinds of things, right? But technically, no, nothing. They do
At the
nothing.
moment.
Yeah, not that they do. Not that they do nothing. That MFS, which is listed, does nothing, but they own MFS. Well, they own 76% of MFS.
76 themselves some.
We'll have to fix that. Thanks to JSC. Or seven, whatever
I think it was 79.
They're about 79% of.
Also, if anybody from sorry to cut you, Phil. If anybody from JC is bothering to listen to this, I'm gonna beg you guys something. Listen, I know we might not have had the best relationship in the past, but if you could stop sending out Word files and Excel files, please, it's not even safe from a tech perspective. Please, I'm begging you. Just tell them
Really
to.
not safe.
Yeah, man. Them just. No, tell them low, because you know.
Yes, that's really not safe. That is easy manipulation of information. Please stop it.
Yeah, and like you can spread a lot of viruses and stuff that would just please, if I could just beg you guys for that. So like the top 10 that they just sent out for MFS was an Excel file. An Excel file.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well sometimes it's a Word file, so Excel I'm very happy it's an Excel file. Yeah, so 79.08% is what they own. Okay, so and I should also point out that thing that they had in I closed the Excel file. Oh no, this at the end here. The sale to MFS acquisition was closed in May, but the actual movement of the shares happened July 21st, which explains this big volume movement here. July 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So July 19th, T+2. Yeah. Yeah. So they officially own it now, and I guess they are a microfinance. So Phil, what you wanted to say about them? Because you see us got a whole episode and I said nothing about them, So what you want to say about them?
No, with the financials that came out, in the most interesting part of the financial was really the MD&A, where they spoke about their intentions going forward.
Outlook.
Their outlook. And their intentions.
As the financial in it. Well, let me just update everybody, the few people still listening. As the year comes to the close, new opportunities, new perspective. In the first quarter of the next financial year, wow, I didn't realize that they had said that. In the first quarter of the next financial year, which is where we are now. The financial year ended June 30th. So that's July, August, September. And we're in the middle of August now, so that's a month and a half. In the first quarter of our next financial year, our team will be focused on refining our business model and establishing the company as one of the premier private equity outfits in the Caribbean. Okay, not Jamaica, not just Jamaica. Strengthening the company's balance sheet. Analysts, let me say that for you guys again. Strengthening the company's balance sheet. I know you know what you love, a strong balance sheet, right? Strong balance sheet. And position the team to take advantage of opportunities in local and regional markets. Word. That's interesting. Not just local. Executing MOUs to complete our first 2 strategic acquisition. Okay. And MOUs, memorandums of understandings, mean that the MOUs are already signed, so they're just executing on them. To complete our first 2 strategic acquisitions. So MFS, the listed company, is about to do not 1 but 2 acquisitions.
First quarter.
Strengthening their corporate governance framework and highest risk management, yada yada yada. JC will hold them to that. Confident in Jamaica, committed to bring a strong brand, yada yada. We have a pipeline of targeted acquisitions that we believe will result in attractive and sustainable long-term growth for the company. The board of directors wishes to thank me personally. You're welcome. 2 acquisitions. 1 acquisition. Look at the magic. 1 acquisition worked for Tyrone's I Create.
Indeed.
These guys have 2.
Let me say it now. This was one I didn't want to talk about.
Okay.
God.
Enough of
They
this.
got Phil. The 2 feel that.
Come on, let's do trouble.
Oh wow. No revenue.
And that's why I said okay. That's why I said okay. It wasn't a
That
number
I'm sorry,
situation.
I talked about this earlier. That's why whenever
That's why I say that's a no. That's why I say it's a results thing, but that's a number situation.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He referenced it and then start. Oh, Phil, come in. Phil sound like him. Phil, have you been drinking tonight? Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to talk about it yet either.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it yet either. That's the truth. But Phil, I always say if anybody, regardless if we don't want to talk about things, somebody come on and them want to talk about something, we'll talk about it. But depending on what, you mentioned it, Phil, to say that, and
What
these
you
2
want
points
about
that you meant, what you want to say about it, because these 2 points are major points that I am sure.
Which one? Strong balance sheet and strong government?
Yeah, man.
Strong governance.
that these 2 points are 2 major points for the market that I am happy with the market not paying attention to, because I'm fine if they surprise them afterwards. The fact that they have 2 to buy
9
already.
cents it buy out for $1. So what's the value here?
You know,
There you
Godspeed to
That's tongue in
those of
cheek for
us.
anybody listening to this in the future. Frankly.
They did buy it for 9 cents. They have made some ratted profit on that buy.
Profit.
My
Yeah,
God.
that's one of the moves of the year, boy.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
For those.
That is
more to go.
If I have it right, that is 4,322% profit.
Yes, I am.
All right, hear me out. If you big up Kalila, if you listen to the gentleman who was he signed on to this thing?
Run the show.
The CEO, the CEO, Dino Hines, on Kalila's program spoke about buying their, what do they call it? Their marquee company, like their premier company within the MFS group. Flagship. Thank you, Phil. Their flagship company. Now, if the flagship company is a company that bought this SSLVC for 9 cents, like how are they booking? I'm hoping for some way that they could book that gain as profit, right?
The flagship company?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. Did they?
I don't think they can, because it's too big a stake.
There's not a fact. So they created this thingy for that, and then this thingy will be buying the thing there. So I don't think the flagship company has a stake here.
But the flagship company owns this, does it not? It owns a company that owns this, no?
I don't think so, Phil.
MFS.
I don't know. MFS owns MFS Capital Partners. I think it's a separate thing and call it the group.
Yeah, that is not.
It's not clear to me though.
I'd love to see an organogram of this this
we
algorithm.
have to make it enough here. We have to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. It's not clear.
You're
to me
right. It is not a subsidiary. It is related to the Microfinance Solutions Limited.
Right.
It was incorporated by shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
So keep it out and it will buy.
So it's related by board. Yeah, it's related at the level of the board. And Microfinance Solutions Limited holds a 20% stake in Capital Solutions Limited with a right to purchase up to
interesting.
With a right to purchase. Look at me giving people free work. Anyway, guys, this has been Brick Talk.
Yeah, we are talking. Come up with this.
This has been Brick Talk. And big up to my money GA for allowing us to have easy access to this information. I'm biased in saying that, but I mean the thing speaks for itself. And a couple thousand of you, a few thousands of you. I should learn to boast properly, but thousands, and I don't mean 2 or 3 or 4, know how good it is because thousands of you use it, and I hope more of you keep using it. Each one teach one. Phil, you have something else that you want to say, or anybody have anything they want to say in the last few seconds? Otherwise, we're gonna say good night and leave you guys for another week with Brick Talk.
Bless up, guys. Bless up.
All right,
I'll keep it for next week.
All right, big up Phil. Big up Phil, the Phils. And thank you, Danai, for doing this. Thank you to everybody who came on and asked about it. Yo, I feel like this week had a lot of gems, even though I don't think it was very wow exciting. But sometimes the gems outside of Danai typing, Jaja. Danai, show the people on your keyboard.
Yeah, but go after that. God no.
Show them the heavy keyboard. Mine nice and heavy too, but it boy that I own. If we go buy him one of them soft keys, mechanical keyboard.
I think you're going to go into blues.
Yeah.
I think they're soft.
I think so too.
This is great. So you never hear it tick.
I expected it to look way older than that, like a proper old Dell.
No.
An old Dell.
Great, you know.
Those are amazing. You can't find one of those to buy now.
Yeah, it's so expensive.
Yes. Mechanical keyboards. Yeah, if you're that kind of nerd, get into it. If you have an old IBM keyboard or old Dell keyboard, original, you can sell it for like $1,000. No exaggeration. Yeah, man. No exaggeration.
You can find it in your house and go sell it. Yup, easy.
Oh,
yeah. Especially the old IBM one. Yeah.
Typewriter vibes.
Yes, sir. Because it types great.
You have the failure problems. It's proper. It's good, man. If you get really the keyboard, you know it's local. You know the thing.
I know the vibes.
Robot contact are rubbish.
Yeah.
Trust me, man.
Dude. I mean, I haven't actually coded with like a mechanical keyboard like that. I should try it.
You will not go back.
You probably never stop.
Yeah. You will not go back. I have about 3 or 4 of them now. Yeah.
I trust me. It's one of the things I would spend money. I can say more. I can see them and I really want to buy more. How old it could be?
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably just spend the money and done.
I stuck see by.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
always the problem.
Yeah, look this up if you guys want. The king of the keyboard, the king of click, the greatest keyboard ever made. Like it's a big deal to people.
Legend.
The best keyboard is back.
Are people recreating modern versions of this?
Yeah. Yes. And those are kind of costly, but yeah.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
Memories back in the day.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a little bit of nerd trip brought to you by Brick Talk. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And have a good night.
I want people best of enjoy the weekend.
Respect.
Oh wait, Phil.
Yeah, man.
How you feel about the dollar? Not the dollar. Sorry, the 1-on-1 2.8%. Is it 2.8? Great.
I predicted 1.01%.
1.01. Oh wow, this guy's funny. This guy's funny. What 2.8? Is it 2.8 or is it
223. So
2.22?
5,000 and 2.223 and 2.23 or something. So
You know, so I did put I even have this little file I put together to see how much you get if you actually yeah. If you invested $1 million, you and the public pool, you're getting 27. This must be
grand.
wrong.
Twitter
Might
go
be wrong.
vex. Twitter already vex.
Who you for Vexness? I'm not sure. Vexness and surprise, and I mean it's a good thing.
It's a great thing, but if you're new to the market, you might not know it. And if the people who should know it don't know and don't tell you, then you might be annoyed. Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part of it, isn't it?
Yeah. Can you imagine that? You put $1 million in and you get less than 30 grand worth. The problem would be you shouldn't put $1 million in.
You never realize.
Yeah.
You never know.
What the agonies?
So
What
never
name
know.
again? That's crazy.
the teacher again, big up the employees pool. Big up the employees pool. That I think is a great thing. I like to see that people took it seriously.
Did they?
The employees, I'm assuming that they did.
I hope so. But then look on the allocation. It sounds like
Allocation suggests
Suggest
might
that
have been skewed. It's like a small amount applied for a lot.
Well, shout out to the employees who were smart enough to do it. If nobody else is smart enough to do it, then at least you are. Employees pool, the teachers
Again,
pool also.
employees, if anyone do the thing, if anyone in the future the company is IPOing and you really want to, we'll talk. We'll talk. Just let this link me. We'll work something out. We'll talk.
yeah, man.
Yes, please. Yeah, if you can't bother with it, yeah, if you can't bother, we'll help you. We'll help you buy some shares.
I'll help you buy some shares. I'll guarantee you some profit in it, and we work that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Link me too.
Yeah, here. Yeah, do not link Phil.
Yeah. Phil come up for the wagon.
Do not link Phil. Do not link Phil.
Muted.
All right, guys. Thank you again, and good night.
Yeah, man, peace.